What if the biggest problem in gaming right now isn't the games, it's how we play them? We're buying more than ever, finishing fewer of them, rebuying the same ones, and somehow still feeling like we're behind. Hardware lasts longer, but feels outdated faster. AI is changing how games are made, but we don't know if that's a good thing yet. And at any given moment, there's always something new pulling us away from what we should be playing. So today we're asking the simple question with a complicated answer. Are games the problem, or are we? Hello and welcome back to Press Start Together, the podcast where we talk about the games we love, the games we swear we're going to finish, and the ones we quietly uninstall at 2 a.m. I'm Ed, also known as the Altaholic, and today I'm joined once again by co-hosts, guests, and most importantly, my friends. So let's go around and introduce them. I'm going to start with the top left corner according to my screen, Zeno.
Hello there, Press Start Together, and I
Is
am
this
Zeno,
mic coming through for you?
the alien from a galaxy far away. Is my mic not coming through?
It's showing up on my end.
There's a bit of a delay.
Oh, it's me.
Yes?
I can hear you. My bad.
There's a
You
bit of
might be good. You might be good then.
awesome. Hopefully it doesn't kick me off, because apparently they're deciding to throttle me again.
Ooh.
Okay, so, sorry. I'm the alien from a galaxy far away, and I'm here to learn all about gaming and all the lovely humans that have and yeah, stop following me up.
All right. Thank you, Zeno. Hopefully we get that Canadian internet solved one more time. As we know, the Moose this time of year, they are on strike. So we're just going to go in and introduce our next. We have two special guests this week. Unfortunately, Tess had a prior engagement. She is currently filming her Avengers, Doomsday cameo. So I'm going to bring it over to Des. Why don't you introduce yourself for us tonight?
Hi, I'm Dust the Chow, coming from the neutral Chow Garden, and I play lots of video games on Twitch, and I post random toilet thoughts on threads.
I don't even know what to say to that except for thank you. Thank you for stepping in tonight again, my friend. And last but certainly not least, our special guest for this month, Gifted Faker. Gifted, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Hello, I'm Gifted. I am a human, I swear. I'm a cosplayer and streamer on stream. I play a bunch of, really it's whatever I feel like. So if you're into variety gaming and me screaming at anything that will scare me, I'm your gal. And if you like cosplay, I do that. It's over there. You can see it. I can point. There you go.
And Doofy wanted us to make sure that we also pointed out that Vampire Assassin and Butt Critic were also added to your resume.
I'm 1,093 years old, I think. And I am currently playing Bayonetta with an eye tracker on, and Jack gets to call me out for every time I look somewhere inappropriate. And it's often.
Oh, that is amazing. And thank you for that. We have a stacked episode tonight. We're talking hardware cycles, the backlog, AI in games, remake, and re-releases, and finally, what makes us drop a game. But before we go into all that, we like to do a thing called the inventory check here for those of you who haven't been here before, which is just what we're playing right now, and more importantly, what we're actually playing versus what we say we plan. So I'm going to throw it over to Des first. What's been taking up your time lately?
I'm gonna be honest, it's a little bit of Baldur's Gate on stream and stuff with Xenos, but what I'm actually playing when I'm not playing Baldur's Gate is League of Legends. It has gripped me, and it won't let me leave.
I don't know if that's a good or a bad thing for you, my friend. Gifted, I know you mentioned playing Bayonetta on stream. What about you? Anything else you're playing?
Yeah, I still working through the tail end of the story stuff with Hades 2, and then off stream I've been playing way too much, but there's no way too much. Pocopia, It's
Uh,
Pokopia. It's you playing as a Ditto, and you're getting all the Pokemon. It's the cutest, and I'm obsessed.
now, see, I haven't dived in myself, but from everyone I've heard that has played it, they cannot put it down.
It's so good and so sad.
Yeah,
Oh,
It's such a sad game. The
yeah,
actual story is depressing.
yeah. That
oh,
I don't want to spoil anything, but from what I've heard, it's something where
Mhm.
it's like there are no humans, and it's like you're finding out why, and it was like, oh, this went from adorable to like depressing real quick.
Mhm. But it's
Gotcha.
fun. It's
Yeah,
still fun.
nice. And Zeno, what about you? What have we been playing recently?
I have been playing my usual Where Winds Meet, but I've been doing episode by episode with Dez on his first playthrough of Baldur's Gate 3. Um, and soon I will be playing lots and lots of Monster Hunter. So
Nice.
that'll be fun.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, I've caught a couple of the streams
It's
for
fine.
Baldur's Gate 3. It is
Good.
it is so good. And just before I go in, Noah's currently playing is it Pokopia or po
Pokopia, because it's like
Pokopia, like Utopia?
Utopia, yeah.
Okay, nice. Doofy loves a game with a rug pull like that. Awesome. Me, I won't lie, Crimson Desert has stolen my life. I haven't played it on stream because I just want to run around and explore everything, and that is a game where that's what you do 90% of the time. It's like, oh, there's a main quest, but ooh, look, what could be under this rock? So I have like 10 hours in the game, and I think I've made it to like the start of chapter 3. And it's really a lot of fun. I'm really enjoying it. On stream, I don't can't even tell you what I played last. I haven't streamed in a little bit. But I do my backlog, so I spin a wheel and whatever it lands on, I play that for a couple of hours. And we've gotten some good ones, and we've gotten some other games, which I'm sure we'll talk about later. But let's zoom out a bit because what we're playing is often shaped by what we're playing on. So the hardware cycles, are they too long or too short? We're in this weird place right now where like consoles like the PlayStation 5, the Xbox Series, been out for years, and it still kind of feels like we're waiting for them to start. For the first couple of years, everything was cross-gen. Now we're finally seeing more current-gen exclusives. But even then, the leap really doesn't feel all that huge. And yes, we've recently got the Switch too, but it's coming out almost a decade after the original. And Nintendo is not only still supporting it, but they're still releasing several brand new titles for it. And then on the PC side, you've got companies like Nvidia and AMD basically saying your hardware cycle is whenever your wallet is going to allow it. So the question is, hardware cycles, are they too long or are they not long enough to justify the cost? Gifted, I'm going to start with you because that face tells me that you have a wonderful answer and you were totally prepared for this question.
Super prepared. As in, it's so interesting to think about and consider because you want to see major updates. Like you want to see actual differences when you
Mhm.
see a hardware update. When you go from one graphics card to the next, you want to be able to actually tangibly see a difference. And I do start to question, like, are we at a stage with technology? Because we're in the age of technology right now. Like, is what we're seeing the plateau? Like, are we at the best that it can be for at home use of things? Because, like, it's the last few updates on things, I feel like they haven't been the same leaps and bounds of differences in quality that have been in the past, if that makes sense. Whereas I think previously, going from one Xbox to the next, there's a huge difference. It was noticeable and tangible and
Yeah.
very, very different. But then you start to see the Switch 1 to the Switch 2, it's like, yeah, there's some differences. There are some upgrades. There's some good new things brought up with the Switch 2, but like, is it really that much of a difference? Like, is it worth putting out new technology? Because it does feel like we could be reaching some sort of plateau with the quality of these these hardware items that we're getting.
Yeah, no, I don't disagree with you. And like, I'm the first person that probably would sit there and like say bad things about Nintendo, because Nintendo has done a lot of bad things this year. And like, you know, coming out with like a Switch 2 that doesn't have an OLED screen and all those things, but the hardware is already not new, but like there are games on it finally, I think, coming out that are starting to, I don't want to say justify the price, because the price is still high, but we'll talk about later when, you know, we get to our critical hits and misses about high prices and all the things. But like you said, like we're finally starting to see things that it's like taking advantage of it. But it's also been out for what, 2 years now? Is it? It feels like it's about time where it's like, well, I think when it came out, it was one of those things where it's like, oh, I'm so glad someone got it for me. I played Donkey Kong and now I haven't turned it on since. And that's still true. But yeah. Zeno, what about you? What do you think? The slow
So,
intro. I love it.
I definitely the Switch sentiment. Jazzy Mama made a very good point. The Switch 2 should have had an OLED screen as well.
Mm.
You were making a similar point about the Switch 2. But it seemed like they were pushing out more of like let's see if we can just shunt them onto another version of it. It's similar to how like the Pro versions of systems started coming out, right? Of like the PS Pro, and it was because they actually ran into a problem with hardware, right, before they were making the PS5. And similar thing with PS3, they were like, let's make a really good product at the beginning, with capability, a lot better music and Blu-ray abilities. I don't know why they just gutted that first system and then made a very small one. According to the reports, it was because they were trying to make lower cost PlayStation 3s. That same sentiment just kept carrying into newer generations, like with the Pros and stuff. Like, no, let's see if we can do the opposite and sell a slightly higher experience, like the Pro to the 4. They're really like, I'm talking about PlayStation, but from the Pro to the 4, there wasn't really huge difference outside of a little bit better fidelity and a little bit better, PS, but then immediately trimmed by the 5, and not by that much either. Crazy. It's like we got sold gimmicks versus actual upgraded firmware. There isn't really huge difference. It's just now there's more leeway for companies to be able to push their games to a better fidelity or better game experience. But I digress. Xbox had the same problem, whereas now they had to outsource to more of a PC approach, standalone console, and their new one going to be a little bit more oriented to PC.
Yeah, no, it's so like, again, it's so interesting. I don't want to, for lack of a better term, blow all my talking points for, you know, Sony later or now, because they announced something today, which I'm sure some of you saw, which was yeah, so Gifted, it seems like you may not have heard. So Sony has apparent.
Later we can talk then.
Oh no, don't worry. We'll
Okay.
still talk about it later. But Sony has come out and said, as of I believe it's April 2nd, the pricing of all of their consoles, or I should, including the PlayStation Portal, which I guess is console adjacent, will be going up between $50 and $150. So if you want to buy a PlayStation 5 Pro, they'll be starting at $900. Some of the other systems are starting at between $600 and $650, and I think the Portal is now like almost $400. But to be quite honest with you, I don't know what the price of the Portal is right now, so it may be $350. I'm not sure, but the prices are astronomical and insane, especially considering that, if I'm not mistaken, this is like the first time ever that console prices have gone up during their life cycle and not lowered, especially because this is the second price hike since its release. In fact, it is now, if I'm not mistaken, 100, or excuse me, it's 50% more expensive to buy a PlayStation 5 now than it was to buy it at launch.
Cute.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's so cute. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, and Des, I know you have some thoughts, so I'll let you talk before I jump
No
into this
worries.
topic.
We were talking about like the main topic again was
Yeah. Well, don't worry, this will definitely be a topic we close out on because talk about the perfect critical miss for the day.
Oh yeah. I haven't really played on consoles in like over 7 years now. I stopped buying consoles after the PS3 just because like I started noticing that like the price to buy them and the price points for like entry PCs were kind of roughly the same. And I was like, well, I get more games on a PC than I do on the consoles, which I have to deal with exclusivities. And then if you're buying an Xbox at the time, you had to get like live as well. And I just didn't want to deal with all that. So I moved the PC, but I find the parts are kind of like, I like the fact that hardware lasts a lot longer and that we're kind of starting to plateau in terms of graphical fidelities like that, because now it's forcing, like, I wouldn't say forcing, but it's like giving time for game developers to really push the upper limits of what our hardware can do and like come up with more creative ways and inventive like ways to make like more immersive worlds without necessarily requiring stronger components to do so. But yeah, that's where I kind of sit on that whole what's it called, I guess, spectrum of like, how the upgrades have been going or slowing down, I guess, in more recent years.
Yeah, I mean, again, I own one. Well, I was going to say I own one console, but I forgot I own a Switch too. But that tells you how often, like I said, I play that. And the only reason I've said this before in a couple episodes, I own a Xbox Series S, and that's because Blue Dragon is not available on any other console since the Xbox 360. So I rebought it digitally to own it and be able to play it. But I don't turn on my Xbox unless I want to play Blue Dragon like once every couple of years. But it's kind of the same thing. So when it comes to like console lifestyle or life cycles, I'm going to be honest with you. I think they're finally starting to be in like a good place because like while it is true that PC components and PC hardware, especially right now, is at its all time what's the word I'm looking for? Like, I don't want to say like it's an all-time high, but it's at the same time, it's also one of those things where it's like I mentioned earlier, I've been playing Crimson Desert. Crimson Desert came out a couple of days ago. Yes, I don't think anyone should use just the minimum specs, but if you do, it's an 8th gen Intel i5 processor and a GTX 1060. To put that in perspective, we're talking about PC components from over a decade ago. And they're still allowing you to buy and play good games. And before I continue, Zeno unfortunately had to drop out. He's having some network issues. Hopefully they get worked out. And if they do, maybe he'll be able to join us back in. But I just wanted to mention it in there. Also, there we go, Gifted. You're no longer cut in half. I don't know why it did that, but yay, Twitch. But like, I think we're at a point where, like we've mentioned, where like these diminishing returns are happening, where it's like, if you have a component in your computer from the last, I'd even say 5 years, there is absolutely no reason to upgrade it. If you have the money, yeah, sure, go for it. But if the brand new game can run with parts from 10 to 12 years ago, yeah, is it going to look the prettiest? no, but guess what? You've been dealing with it for 10 to 12 years. You could probably get by with like another year or two, especially right now. Deal with it. But like, and the other thing we've been talking about, the Switch 2 came out just about the original Switch came out just about a decade ago. They're still releasing games for it. You're kind of at the point, I think, right now where if you have the $450, maybe it's the time to start looking into upgrading. But you could probably still hold out until Christmas. Maybe there'll be a Black Friday deal or something along those lines.
Oh yeah.
I think having consoles that last about a decade is or should be the goal. Because I'm going to be honest with you, especially if we look, I, like you, Des, am not a console player, but looking at my friends who have like a Series X or a PlayStation 5 and looking at the way those graphics look on that, you can't tell me that you're going to sell me on the next system that's going to have much better graphics. Like, we're not going from a 18 to a 16 to a 32-bit to a 64-bit. What are we going to sit there and be like, well, it's got better ray tracing? Like, okay, most people don't even fucking care about that stuff. So like, I don't know. Feel old yet, Doofy? I feel old every day. It's the story of my life. But yeah, you know, and oh, go ahead.
I think one aspect too that I did not realize, especially with PC parts, was that globally there are a lot of places that are not having the same upgrades as fast as us.
Mm-hmm.
I've worked as a community manager with a games publisher, and a big issue that we had was people from a bunch of different countries saying that, hey, your game is too good. My computer can't play it. I want to. And our devs did go back and try to really get the game working on those lower end, older hardware parts, so that the games could be more widely appreciated and widely played. And I think that's the thing, is like you said, like if you have parts that are just a few years old or even like 7 years old, devs are still keeping that in mind, especially with PC gaming, that it's just like, you might not need that update just yet.
Yeah. That's a great call out. I want to say it was I want to say it was Linus Tech Tips, but don't quote me on it. But they had a video on YouTube fairly recently where it was like they were building a brand new computer, but only what was available on the Brazilian market, and like that's the whole thing, where it was like either a 20 series or a 30 series, and like these old, where it's like and they're still comparable. Where that's the whole thing, where it's like Doofy is telling me it was LTT, so thank you, Doofy. I feel like I should put like fact checker next to your name. This is perfect. But like, and that's the really like interesting and cool thing about this, where it's like, you don't like, I have a 4070 Ti Super in my computer, and it's the dumbest name of a graphics card ever.
Yeah.
But like, hello there. But it was like, at the same time, you sit there and you're like, hey, if it works, it does. Like who cares? You don't have to, like, I think too many people are thinking about, like you said, like the what's available right now versus like what is still comparable. It's one of the things that I'm really excited about with the Valve Steam box or Steam machine, whatever they're actually gonna call it, because with like so many people are like ragging on it, we're like, oh, 8 gigs of like video memory, like blah blah blah, and it's like, have you guys seen the Steam hardware survey when they say that's better than what like 70% of people are using? They're not kidding. And I think that that's really going to be the interesting thing, where people sit there and are like, hey, 1440p is just barely making its way into like the top of what, like, or I should say, topping out and beating 1080p as far as a like resolution. 4K is nowhere near there. 8K doesn't exist. I don't care. There's that one guy sitting there on a projector sitting there like, I'm doing it. But like, yeah, like it's just really interesting to see. Like, I think influencers, for lack of a better term, are like coming in and sitting there and being like, hey, here's the 2025 build and here's the 2026 build. And you're not really seeing that as much as you used to, like, since I would say 2020. Like 2020 to like 2024, people were like, you upgrade every year, like throw in parts are cheap. And for a while, they were the most cost effective that they'd ever been. Like I have 64 gigs of RAM in my computer because at the time it was $10 more than a 16 gig kit at Micro Center. And I was like, that feels like somebody just priced this wrong, but I might as well spend $10 more. And now I could sell my RAM for more than I bought my entire computer for. And there are days I've contemplated that, but no, I'm still streaming for you guys. But yeah, it's nuts.
The updates are there for the people that can afford them and spend their money and have the best of the best quality. And if that quality is exactly what you want and you want to stay on top of it, phenomenal. It's out there. Go ahead, be that 8K resolution guy.
Yeah.
You are allowed. But I think for like the common everyday people, especially younger people who are, either just getting out of college and like just renting their first house and like trying to make ends meet, but also still want to have fun and be like a person and play video games. It's like, yeah, you can buy the cheaper things. You can buy the older pieces and still have fun, still get through it, still get to play your games, have that release and that forgetting about reality. But you don't need the best of the best, the newest stuff every single time it comes out.
Yeah, no, you heard it here first, guys. You could wait 10 years. It's okay.
It's actually funny that you mentioned that because my old PC I was using before this one was like, I think it was like 13 or 14 years old in terms of parts in it.
Yeah.
And it was like, oh yeah, I was playing perfectly fine. Like I was playing like Black Desert Online and Final Fantasy 14 and stuff on it. And like even streaming on it while playing like games like CDs was still possible. And like Power World, despite the fact that like I think the video card, like the GPU only had like 4 gigs of like VRAM in it. And I was like, I was making do with 1080p gaming. So like it's very much a possible thing to pull off. So don't listen to 8K Gary.
Yeah.
And his propaganda on Reddit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I love 8K Gary. Like, I feel like we need to make that a thing now. Like, that was brilliant. Like, well done. Also, Doofy in the comments sitting there, or be like me and buy all the high-end-ish components just before the Rampocalypse began and laugh at all the peons. Yeah, not gonna lie. Like, I used to upgrade probably every, like, 5 to 7 years. Like, I'm in nowhere near to, like, do it now. I think I upgraded everything about, like, 2 years ago. But I'm sitting there like, I feel like we're no longer at like the need to do that because the parts are holding up so long that I used to do it, like I said, every like 5-7 years because that's where you got like the best value reselling things. Where it's like, oh, it's still new-ish, but like you're only like 1, maybe 2 generations behind like top. Now it's like, I don't know, this thing will probably last me until I retire, which is looking like it's going to be longer and longer every day. But that's an America problem. Yeah. But yeah. But now that we've talked about, how long things last and how often we upgrade, it kind of feels like it feeds directly into the next, I don't want to say problem, but kind of the next topic, because even if nothing new came out tomorrow, at least I know with the 3 of us, most of us would still have more games than we could ever finish. So let's be honest. I'm not going to say the backlog isn't real, but is it the problem we think it is? Because while it is true that a lot of us are struggling with lack of time, we're also struggling with too many choices, too many sales, the constant feeling that something better is waiting. We sometimes say, I'll play it someday, but someday is doing a lot of heavy lifting. And when you factor in subscriptions, constant releases, and games going on sale every other week, it becomes less about finishing games and more about collecting intentions. So maybe the better question is our backlog actually a problem, or is it just a reflection of how we engage with games now? Des, I'm going to start with you.
Oh, okay.
Well, I had a 50-50 shot. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, it's okay. We got this. Let it ride.
Doing it live.
So for me, it's FOMO. I am a victim of it, and I will claim that card until I die. No one will ever get me to admit otherwise. I will be like, hey, okay, I installed this game. It's a single player game. It's a perfect example of this is Tunic. It's like a little
Such a
like
good game.
old. Yeah, I wanted to play it. It looks pretty. It's cute.
It's so
I'm
cute.
like, this is right up my alley. I can't wait to play this game. I've never touched that game once in my life.
Oh no.
And the reason for that is every time I was going to, I'd be told by my friends, hey, listen, there's a new event going on in this game. Hey, if you don't do this, you're going to lose out on getting these skins, whatever. And I'm like, oh, or hey, all of us want to go play this, random party game that just came out. Insert Lethal Company, Peak, Among Us, the other bajillion party games that your friends will only play for like a week. And then, you're just sitting there looking at it in your collection like, yep, I spent $10 on that one as well. But yeah, no, I like it's just the FOMO constantly hitting me that like stops me from doing it, and then real life obligations, of course, as well. But there are like a few games where I would just buy them sheer like out of like the sheer purpose of nostalgia like reasons. Like I saw Final Fantasy 10 and 10-2 on sale one day, and I was like, it's $3. I can pick that up and I'll play it again. It'll be a great time. I'm not playing that game. I know I'm not going to, but I bought it anyways because just off of like the very, very small chance that I would play it. But I know I'm not going to. Realistically speaking. And it's not just older games too. It happens with like newer games as well. A big example for me is Sonic Frontiers. Yeah, I was thinking of Forces for a second. Sonic Frontiers. Love Sonic games. Huge fan of it, clearly. But I haven't opened that game yet. And that's a problem because it's been sitting there installed. And so I find streaming is like my best way of like forcing me to like actively confront it. Because if I tell my viewers, hey, I'm going to play this game, they'll hold me accountable and be like, you need to play it. Remember, you told us this. We want to see you play the funny little hedgehog game. So yeah, that's my excuse, which I don't think is everyone's, but I've heard enough of my friends like recite the same thing of basically being like FOMO and live service games kind of take up more of their time than they could to complete their backlogs. But
yeah, no, I think that's a really interesting point. Like I don't think any live service games anymore. Like I dabble in Destiny, meaning that when they have a Star Wars event, I play it for a little bit and then I like disappear. But that's because it's the Star War and I like the Star Wars. But
Space
like,
Wizards.
oh, you're gonna give me a laser sword? I'm in. I'm a very simple man. But like, I think one of the things that you brought up, which I actually really agree with, and it's one of the reasons I think my backlog is as large as it is you mentioned the game preservation aspect. Like I bought so many games on Steam, be it a Steam sale or just like a humble bundle or something along those lines, where I sat there and it was like, I remember this from my childhood, or it's a game that I've played and I've already beaten, but like it's on a console that I no longer own anymore. And I would rather own it than not. And yes, you can say the whole thing about whether or not Steam and digital ownership is ownership, blah, blah, blah. We're not talking about that today. But like, I think that's a really like good concept where it's like, I don't need to go back and play Final Fantasy IV. Have I? Yes. It's been years, but I bought it because I played it when it was on the Super Nintendo and I really liked it. And now I have a chance to own it again because I want to have that. And I have those memories of these games that I did play and I did own, but I don't want to say dumb because we were all those dumb kids back in the day because we didn't know, like, video games didn't have any quote unquote value because it was like, I played it a lot. Oh, okay, the new system is out. I can't play these anymore. I might as well sell them, give them back, put them, give them to the younger kid that, like family doesn't have a console and do those. And then, when 20, 30 years later, I'll just buy it again on a different platform because that's a great thing. Like, I think it's like a third of my library is probably games I sit there and I go, I will probably never play these, but I want to own them and I'm okay with it. And I'm not just saying that because the second book I'm writing is about being okay with their backlog. But before I go too deep into this, Gifted, I want to hear your opinion on this topic.
I'm glad that I also am perfectly fine with backlogs.
Yeah.
I think part of it for me is that like you never know when you're gonna have the time. And so when I don't think I pay for any like most games that I end up buying, I buy during a sale.
Mhm.
Unless it's something that I want to play immediately upon release and they're not doing a sale, or it's a type of game like Nintendo that never ever really goes on an actual sale. But mostly other games, I wait for a sale and I buy a few at a time so that I have the next few games that I want to play or I want to stream or things that I think would be good for me to play or play on stream. And then I just get those and I just pick them up. And then if I get to it, great. If I don't, okay.
Yeah.
I think it's the same way with like books and having a long TBR. It's like I don't
Mhm.
know when I'm going to be in the mood to read this book. So I want to have it so that when I am in the mood to play it, whether that ever comes up or not, it's there. So it's like, yeah, I own Bear and Breakfast because I want to play it someday. If I do, great. If not, it's not like I spent a crazy amount of money on it. As long as you are not spending outside of your own means, as long as you're like feeding yourself and not buying games instead, just have your backlog. It's not, there are far worse things in the world than having a long backlog.
Yeah.
Because then whatever mood you're in, like you might not be in the mood for Final Fantasy. You might be in the mood for Dave the Diver that day. But if you didn't own Dave the Diver, then you're going to pay more for it. You're going to end up buying it then. So it's like, it's just have it. Just have it.
Yeah, no, I like I said, I don't disagree with it, especially because like it's nowadays, like you could I don't want to speak to console players, but at least for PC players, I feel like there's a sale like every 4.5 minutes on something. Like, is there any deal.com is my favorite website like ever. You sit there and it's like, oh, I'm just going to import my Steam wish list. And oh, you're going to notify me every time that there's a better price than what it is. Great. Shut up and take my money. Like, yeah. And I think that this is like you said, like it's fine. And I'm not just saying this because like I've come to accept that I've had a backlog, but it's like, guys, there's more games that are released now than like I think at any other point during like, I don't want to say gaming history, but I don't know how else to like put it, where it's like I've never needed like a release calendar to sit there and be like, oh, there's like 14 things being released in the next 48 hours. Like, I can't keep track of it. Like, I don't even know what comes out this year. And I'm not saying that like in a bad way, because it just keeps more and more shit just keeps getting added onto it. And they like do these like stealth drops. Like, what was it the other day? Oh God, it was, Square Enix was just like, oh yeah, Bravely Default, the remaster. Yeah, we're putting it on PC. It's available now. Like, go buy it. And you're like, I'm sorry, what? Like, what do you mean today? You're like, yeah, we didn't know we were going to do it. Have fun. It's on a couple other things. Go have some fun. And they're doing that more and more. Like back in the day, I was like, oh, I used to know like the exact like day and time like something was releasing because you would have to wait for it. And now it's like, I could look at my wish list and be like, oh, okay, so this is coming out like Friday. This is coming out in a month. This is coming out here. And then, like I said, 6 other things will just like stealth drop. Like I forgot that there was a new Legacy of Kain game coming out at the end of the month. I knew it was coming out. I've been waiting for it because they announced it the same day as the remaster, but apparently it comes out on March 30th. And you're like, wait, what? When? Wait, no, I didn't even see I haven't seen anything since the trailer for this.
So what I'm hearing is that we need to get you on the fantasy video game leagues and make a fantasy league based on what games are going to come out.
Oh,
so that you actually know.
Yeah, that'd be so much fun.
It's a thing. There's a website.
No.
Someone made it. That it's fantasy football, but for video games.
Oh,
and it's based off of its open critic score. Anything above a 70 gets you points.
Oh,
and
that's.
You build a team.
Oh,
Yeah, that's the only reason I know when games are coming out or what's coming out this year is because I have a team and I'm
yeah.
gonna win.
Oh, I like
Maybe.
that. We'll definitely talk about that. But like, yeah, I feel like, especially like right now, Doofy says, I feel like this is an addiction waiting to happen. You're not
Yeah.
wrong. There's a reason.
shut.
I will say my thing, like what most people have as far as like their backlog when it comes to like, I think people are like ashamed to say like the number. I was like, I've got like over 600 games like in my Steam library. Like, don't care. That's installed, by the way. I have, I have a,
That's
I have,
the wild part to me. When
well,
you say it's installed, I'm like, okay.
Yeah,
all right.
Yeah.
that's crazy.
All right.
well, I have to use my NAS for something. And I was
Okay.
like, if I built it, I have it. What am I going to do with it? I guess it's going to be my Steam backup server. And it just keeps on having space somehow, even though there's 17 terabytes full. I feel like half of that is probably just one of the Modern Warfare games, but you know, that I bought on a random sale.
Yeah, that's fair, to be honest.
Yeah.
Like, like thinking about it, I was like, those things are huge.
Yeah, but like that's the whole thing where I sit there and I was like, and I guess that's another reason where it doesn't like for lack of a better term, feel real to me, where I sit there and I was like, I buy it, it automatically installs on my NAS until I like want to play it. And then I have to hit the button to be like, okay, yeah, move it to my like internal hard drive. And that still only takes seconds. But it's like, much like you, it's just a way that it's easy for me to sit there and be like, I have a way to play anything I want at any time. And even if the internet goes down, I still don't have to worry about it. Do I recommend everyone get this? No, but it also runs my my home automation as well as all my battery backups for my house. So it's not just video games. It's just 98% video games. Parts were cheaper at the time. It was a different time. Don't do it now, people. But we got some other things in the chat. I want to go things in there. Is the game interesting? Okay, take my money. Sales are a cherry on top. Yeah. Yeah, there's like much like Gifted said, I don't think I buy anything really day one unless there is like a sale on it like at that point. Like I didn't even buy Crimson Desert. It came with like a code with one of the AMD parts for my laptop.
Oh yeah, you told me that last
There's
time.
been a lot more indie games doing like a 15% off or
Yeah,
even
like
10% off game. I don't know if it's been like a thing forever, but I've noticed it recently that a lot of games are like indie games are doing that, like even just a 10% off at launch.
Yeah.
Which is
Yeah,
cool.
I saw that with Power World.
Yeah.
Like when they released, they dropped it down to like $10 instead of like 30 on release, and I was like, "Whoa, okay,
Yeah.
take my money."
Honestly, yeah, and it's like I know it's definitely more common in the indie scene, but like I feel like that's even starting to roll over into like the AA and AAA releases too, where it's like Metal Gear Solid Volume 2, which is like Metal Gear Solid 4 and Peacemaker, which are never been released on PC before, are finally coming out in August. And I think you could find it now as a 25% off for a pre-order. And you're like, well, if I know I'm going to buy it, I might as well save some money on it because it's justified at that point. Plus, it's money I don't have to worry about until August. What is it? Zeno also says, I never buy Destiny DLCs day one because they always go on sale before the drop of the next one. Yeah, no, like it's like every year I think Humble does like a Destiny catch-up thing, and it's like, do you have $10? Have every DLC that's ever been released with that. So I definitely feel that. Doofy is sitting there, only day one purchase I'll make are Resident Evil games. So it also depends on how deep I am in the fandom. Yeah, I mean, for a while, the only thing I ever bought at launch for a while was World of Warcraft expansions, and I don't play World of Warcraft anymore, so I don't know. I'm trying to think the last thing I bought, like, day one. It might have been Silk Song, just because, again, like, it was one of those where it's like I had just beaten Hollow Knight, and I was like, oh, okay, I definitely want to play Silk Song, and and Zeno's saying, like, Silk Song launched at $20. It definitely could have been much higher. But there's so like that's the other thing where it's like I know this isn't about sales, but when it comes to the sales and the factor when it comes to adding those things to the backlog, because I think a lot of things when it comes to my backlog as well is things that I got in like bundles. And I went, I don't even care about these 4 games. I just want these 2, and it's cheaper to buy all, 6 of them somehow. But like indie games are like almost an exception to that rule sometimes, because like a lot of the times they're like, oh, okay, do you want this? It's $5. And you're like, that's what I paid for Peak. I haven't played Peak all that much. I would love to play Peak more. I now know both of you own Peak. Same thing with like RV There Yet. I watched it. I watched so many people play it, and I was like, there's no way this game is only like $8. I should buy this game. And I feel like at a certain point where it's like, if it's under like $15, there's something in my brain that goes, well, just buy it. Who cares?
There is a science behind it that I believe, I think it is the devs of Peak put out, that it's like $3 is, it's like $2 is $1, $3
Yep.
is $5, $4 is $5, $6 is $5, $7 is $5, $8 is $10, or something like that.
Yeah.
That there is an innate primal thought of like, we're going to round up to a certain amount, and like $5, that's fine. $10, that's okay. 15, I'm fine with that. But you get to a certain point, you're like, no, I'll wait for a sale.
Yeah. I think I've read that. I don't remember like the exact thing it is like as far as like the thing, but like for me, the way that I sit there and go, it's like and I know that, well, Gifted and I live in the same, like town. But I sit there and I open up my my McDonald's app. I don't go to McDonald's that often, but they are like the closest fast food restaurant to where we live. And I'll open it up and I go, can I get this for less than a combo meal? And if the answer is yes, I buy the game instantly, because I know I'm going to enjoy it more than I am going to enjoy $10, 10 nuggets. Because the nugget recipe has changed. Don't at me.
Fair.
I haven't had McDonald's in like years, so I don't know.
I will say that like, not that this is going to be turned into a McDonald's podcast, but whatever the new burger is, the one that like broke the internet because the CEO can't take a bite.
Oh, the big arch.
Yeah, for a fast food burger, it's actually pretty good, and I hate myself for saying that, because I don't like fast food if it's not like Taco Bell, because Taco Bell is an exception, and I will die on that hill.
Sounds good.
Yeah, look, sometimes at 2 a.m. I'm not making the best life choices.
So I will say, to round back into gaming, I do think too, an exception that I will sometimes end up making is with indie games. If the development team is very transparent and open and like approachable, that is when I will be like, you know what, I'll buy it day one, I'll buy full price. I want to support them. So I think there is some exceptions to my mental rule of like the cost of things. I'm like, no, but those devs are like really sweet. They're trying really hard to do a cool thing, or they've been really open about their development and stuff like that. I'm like, okay, I'll buy it day one for you. You're so sweet.
Yeah, like I it's funny too. Like I think Des and I were talking about something fairly similar like a couple of weeks ago, when it was like the rumors that like Sony is no longer going to be porting games to the PC market. And I was like, I bought a whole bunch of like Sony games when they were on sale, just so that I could sit there like and be like, they're not the same kind of developers, but it was like, hey, I want it to be shown that there's an interest in these games. Go ahead, do it. I also hope that rumor is not true, especially with a $900 PlayStation coming along. But yeah.
I just want them to put Little Big Planet on PC, man. That's all I'm asking for.
I thought it was on PC.
I don't want much.
Wait, it's not on? Oh no, Sackboy's Adventure.
Yeah.
I knew something with that character was on it. Fair.
Yeah, no, but I want like one of the Little Big Planet games, like the main series games, to be on the PC, so I can be like, yeah, I can build things again and play Mario Maker before Mario Maker was even thought of. Let's do it. And now I can't, because I had to go back and buy a PS3 to do it.
Fair. Also, Doofy's in there. I think this is to the point of like supporting the developers, buying a full price dispatch. I hear so many good
Mhm.
things about it. I've watched playthroughs. I haven't played it myself because I'm not really a visual novel kind of person. But from what I've
It,
seen about those developers, it may be one of those where I'm like, yeah, I'll buy it and add it to the backlog that may or may get played eventually.
Mhm.
And
my only thing about that game, real quick, is
yeah,
just that it's not just a visual novel type of game, but it's also like a 911 dispatcher type of game as well. It's like two in one. So if you
okay,
don't like one of the typical playstyles, you might like the other one more.
yeah,
But like, yeah.
okay, yeah. I'll watch Connor and Iron Mouse's playthrough again, and then probably throw some money at them before. Uh, but yeah, speak. But now that we've talked about that, let's talk about the thing that's quietly reshaping how games are being made. This is probably going to be the big elephant in the room topic, but we have to have one of them, uh, which is AI in games, tool, threat, or both. AI in gaming is one of those topics where everyone has an opinion, but no one's entirely sure what the end result will look like yet. On one side, it sounds exciting smarter NPCs, faster development, more dynamic world. And on the other hand, there's valid concerns the loss of creative intent, games feeling more generated than designed, and what it means for developers themselves. So, where do we land? Is AI just another tool like any other evolution in the game dev, or does it fundamentally change what makes games feel human? Uh, Ken, since I only have 50% of who I can throw it out to, Gifted, it's going to go to you this round.
Oh.
Yes.
I am very much in the boat of as the way AI exists in our world currently, I hate it. I want nothing to do with it. I want it to be gone. I think that it is not a help in any way, shape, or form. It is both completely unethical to use and it is completely environmentally dangerous. So I 1010% hate it. Don't want it anywhere near my video games. Don't bring it near my art. Arts should not have a non human trying to create things that humans can use. That
Mm-mm.
being said, I do understand the thoughts behind if it were done in an ethical way where it was not stealing art
Mhm.
from artists, if it was done in a way that it was not ruining the earth and taking all of our clean water, I could see that there would be benefits. It would be more beneficial for an artist to have an AI I don't even know the words. I hate it that much. An AI rendering of what a um, stakeholder wants in the video game because it's a better way for them to understand instead of a stakeholder like describing an alien. If they can just type it in and then get some AI thing to generate it, I get that. I do. I understand why people think that it could be beneficial, but the way that it is in our world right now, I firmly and 100% do not like it, do not want it anywhere near games. And I think that it is just awful and terrible. I
Mm-mm.
hate it.
Yeah, I'm
Should
going to
I
throw it
go
over to
now?
Dev. Yeah, I was like, I'm going to throw it over to Dev before I give my opinion because I don't feel like most of us are going to have fairly different ones.
Uh, yeah, I'm in the same camp. I wholeheartedly believe that AI and its environmental impacts are like extremely devastating to our planet right now, and like not enough people really think about it like that. A lot of the discourse, including with like some members of Goose Squad, we were talking about AI usage like off stream before, and we were chatting about it, and they're like, "I don't understand why people hate AI so much," and I was like, "It's not just from an artistic standpoint, but also from like an environmental impact. This really messes with like how much fresh clean water we still have to use." And I remember very distinctively being told in like middle school that like our science teacher's like, "Yeah, we don't really have that much fresh water left on Earth, and we're gonna run dry soon, and soon water will be like liquid diamonds, basically." So hearing AI just speed that up a bit more kind of terrified me from the jump. But
Mm-hmm.
I do understand from like an app, like using it as a tool, as an assistant type of thing is never a bad thing in my mind. It's like the whole idea of like when it comes to artists, as myself as being one that does art a lot, um, I always find that when people bring up like AI art is bad, I was like, yes, generative AI art is really gross. You shouldn't use it. Um, but tool assisted AI stuff, like they have like these like what's it called? I think it's in Adobe Animate. You can use it to help correct your lines in case you
Mm.
start squiggling around too much, and it's a bit more adaptive than the original version they had for it back when on like CS7's Flash or whatever. And it's cool. I really like it. But a lot of people will like take it and like think like, oh, AI tool means AI generation, and like there's very differences
Yes.
between the two of them. One has actual human input and like
Yeah.
creative effort putting in the background like actually force it to become what it is. The other one is just stealing a bunch of hodgepodge images from the online and then like slamming something together and be like, here, look, it's completely original, I swear.
Yeah.
um,
When I say I hate AI, it is generative AI.
Yeah.
AI
Yeah, no,
assistive things,
no.
it does make sense. And I do absolutely despise the fact that the assistive tools, some of them have been around for ages, but they're now getting tied
Yes.
into the word AI. And I
Yeah.
hate it because I want to just shout point blank, I hate AI so that people get it. And like it's not this, but I have to specify and make sure you understand that it's just
Yeah.
this. I'm like, no, use the assistive tool. The assistive tool I
Yeah.
get.
It's fun.
But like
Yeah.
the generative stuff, it's like ChatGPT. No, burn it down.
Yeah. And
then
honestly,
don't use any
like
more clean water to save it.
yeah, and
Oh, yeah.
what bothers me, like, and I do apologize with ChatGPT specifically too, is like in its first iteration, we're talking like years. It was it was like, oh, you're just trying to make like a smarter chatbot. Sure, I can understand that. And then you did all these other things, and you were like, if we like, we've we never thought about if we should, just if we could. And that's where it's like, oh, like, because that's the problem too. We're like years ago sitting there and being like, oh yeah, like ChatGPT is actually like a decent tool, and now it's what it is today. And you're like, I can understand that there's some use case for it for the very specific things, where if you're like writing code and you want something to like check it and make sure it's going to work, sure, but that's not what it's being used for anymore. Like so it's like I can't even sit there and like give you like that tiny use case where it's like a good thing, where it's like, no, I really don't want to pour a gallon of water down the the drain just to sit there and be like, did I capitalize all my letters? Like, no. But Des, I'm sorry to interrupt, but like I had to get that out there because yeah.
No, you're fine. But yeah, no, like you guys were saying, yeah, generative AI is bad. Tool assisted is really good. But the thing is that a weird like thing I've had an issue with other artists in the art community, especially online, has been all AI related stuff, including tools, is bad. And it's like,
yeah,
okay, so when you draw your drawings on your computer and stuff, do you not use like the line smoothing tool? Do you not use the circle tool and stuff like that, or like the symmetry line and stuff? And you're like, yeah, of course I'd use that. I'm like, well, then someone who's probably painting with like a brush and like an easel and all that stuff is probably looking at you like you're a scumbag. So I mean, you can get as pure as you want. You can actually more pure than I, but like the tools are there for us to make like better stuff than we were capable of doing on our own. At least for the vast majority of us, because some people are just better like that. And I saw something that like Doofy said earlier, but what's it called? AI like being used for NPCs, I think is mostly fine personally. I think I like the idea of smarter and more advanced like NPCs in my games. At the same time, though, if as long as it doesn't kill the environment, I'm cool with it. If it does, then I'm kind of like, I don't really need my NPCs to act like the people I meet on a day to day. It's fine. That water could be used to help like a whole village in like a third world country. I don't need it to make my immersion better, quote unquote.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's how I'm kind of feeling about AI just as a whole. Good as a tool, bad as a generator.
Yeah, and I think that's like why I'm I'm glad I don't want to even say I'm glad everyone's on the same page, because at the end of the day, like, if you're not on the same page, that's your opinion and you're allowed it. And like I've said before, opinions are like assholes. Everyone stinks but mine. So when it comes to it, where it's like, yeah, generative AI is the problem. When it comes to like even when you brought up like AI NPCs, if that is being done like on a local level kind of a thing, and it's not something that it's like you are not asking Gemini to constantly change how it's going or going through there, like, yeah, sure, like I'm even okay with that. Like there's the Skyrim mod that gives like the AIs like more, for lack of a better term, human interaction, where they can actually like the comment on what you're doing and like going in there, but it's not using like an open AI or like a Sora or like something like that. It's, you have to be running, or it had to be ran on its own like model that then sat there and was like, we're going to go in there and like change based on that. If it's individually run, I'm fine with it, because you're running your own computer anyway. You're doing those things. Like if it's done on the individual level, and like we said, it's not going to be like, okay, we're just going to throw this out to, you know, a server and it's going to waste billions of gallons of water just because we want it to know your name. Fine. You know, it's the same thing where it's like the generative AI is the one that I have a problem with when it is used outside of it even being a tool. Where when it becomes, what was it? I think it was the other day, like the first 100% AI game was released on Steam, like the assets, the writing, the whole thing. Thankfully, like somehow in the year of our Lord 2026, it did not like do well. I think it peaked at like 35 people. But the fact that even 35 people sat there and went, hey, you know what's a good idea? Buying this game? Fuck those guys. But,
yeah,
you know, like, at least maybe this is going to sit there and like show like people out there where it's like, again, just because we can doesn't mean that we should. Sora shutting down, I think, is a great thing. Now, I say all these things where it's like, I loved Expedition 33. I think it was a great game. It was phenomenal. I loved it. I'm really enjoying Crimson Desert. Now, unfortunately, there were AI controversies in it where they used AI in the production. Now, all of those things were either supposed to be removed or had been removed with actual generated assets or things along those lines when it was, by the time it was released. I think in Expedition 33's case, all of them had been released or removed. In Crimson Desert's case, I think it was something where they ended up forgetting to remove,
like the paintings.
Yeah, it was like paintings that were hanging in like a house, where it's like, I can give it a little more leeway with something like that, where I'm like, it's still bad, but at least it's not the game. You're not generating like, oh yeah, we just decided we wrote this story with, you know, Chat GPT. Like that, I would have a hell of a lot more of a problem with it then.
100%.
Like, I think I've, as much as like I want to say like I hate it, because I hate generative AI 99.9% of the time. I think that it can be used as a tool very specifically in that 0.1% of the time. But again, most people aren't doing it that way. Doofy, what are the rules on politics in chat? I saw nothing as my rule today. But like, that's like my thing when it comes down to it, because like I can't in good conscience sit there and say like, I hate all instances of AI when I run a smart home. Like, I literally run my home on a like I talk to a server that is in my own home, that then if I sit there and say, turn off my lights, it turns off my lights. Why? Because it does make things convenient. I'm sorry, what was that?
I would laugh if your lights just went off right now.
I was
yeah.
waiting for it to.
That-
I was waiting
So
for it.
it's
I was
like
hoping.
the camera just gets dark, and it's just like.
Yep.
Does that help? No. But like, there's a reason I didn't use the call word. But like, yeah, like there's things like that where I'm like, I understand it from a tool perspective. If you are using it as a tool and you yourself are the one running it, because
That's fair.
because AIs have existed, like we've said,
Mhm.
long before generative AI. It's the problem is when it comes to now, we've made generative AI so what's the word I'm looking for?
Oh, yeah.
Easy to get into, where people are using it for the dumbest fucking things. People aren't thinking anymore. We're not, and we're letting the computer decide like who's using it for, you know, like, oh, I just want to like have a like we all like, I'm old enough to remember like AIM chatbots and things like that, but they were dumb.
Hmm.
The fact that you can sit there, like, yeah, like Doofy says, Grok creating, you know,
CSAM.
a CSAM, like, no, like
Yeah.
that's a problem.
Mm-hmm.
But like, because again, oh, well, we forgot to put in the right filters. We didn't think people would do that. It's the internet. You should think people, everything you think someone's going to do, the answer is they're going to do it and worse and find a way around it. Like, and that's, yeah.
Quick question.
Yes.
Before I type it up because I'm stupid. What's CSAM? And should I not type it up specifically?
Well, I can tell you what the
Gotcha.
acronym means. It is child sexual abuse material.
Oh, okay, never mind.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was enough.
Yeah. Yeah, no, please don't go searching for that.
I see like a phrase or a terminology I don't understand in chat. I'll be like, oh, let me go Google what that means so I can, like, you know, expand my horizons. This is when I'm okay with not expanding. I'm fine.
Yeah. Yeah, this, please don't have this podcast be used in your deposition. No, it's totally cool, Doofy.
Yeah,
but like,
I agree. It's that it's the generative AI that just gets used willy-nilly without the thought of what else it can do, and then just made to be a gimmick.
Yeah.
There's a streamer technically that is I don't know if you know of
Vidal?
Narasama. Vidal, yeah, Vidal.
Yeah.
That is granted an older version of ChatGPT that he has now remodded in his own ways and recoded and stuff. So there is still that aspect of like, okay, how much of it has scraped the internet and stolen from real people?
Mhm.
But but he runs that completely on his
Yeah.
oon PC, not wasting
Okay.
his own, not wasting water in the same way that regular old
Yeah.
Badoo does.
Mm-hmm.
But he does
Oh,
use it for
cool.
just like the silliest, dumbest reason, which like it works in ways that makes it okay, but then it doesn't work in ways that you're like, oh, but do we need that in this world? I don't think I've fully formed an opinion on Noro, but it is an interesting thing to think back that it's like, okay, this is his own server. He's not hurting other people by wasting water and wasting resources, but it is still an older version of ChatGPT just to create this child who just yells at him for being her father.
Yeah, it's similar to like Doug. I love his content. He uses it's like it's run locally, and he uses it to like program assist things, because he's like, I learned to program 15 years ago. I forgot a lot of it. But the programming thing he does is so dumb that it's funny, where I'm like, it's not hurting anyone, because like you said, it's not using like a outside server. It's doing these things where it's like, I'm going to create 3 different AI chatbots and they're going to fight each other in D&D, and we're going to give them like ridiculous personalities. And you're like, yeah, these are the things that it's like, I would be okay if like I said, like, I'm okay with these being used if it's locally. Doofy had a question. Neuro, he has his own server. Yeah, Neuro is run on his own local like server. Like Neuro, I think there's technically two of them now because
Yes.
there's like Neuro and then Evil, which is like her evil stepsister or clone or
sometimes more mean.
yeah.
From what
I've
I've
watched a
seen,
couple of
but both
videos
them
with
can
it.
be quite mean.
Yeah. And that's the thing where it's like if you're doing it yourself,
in that way, yeah.
I don't have as much of a problem with it, especially because it's not being used for anything other than like local silly ridiculousness. Like if like again, much like I said, I can't in good conscience have a problem with Neuro or I think one of like Doug's bots is Pajama Sam. Like I can't have a problem with those if I am also technically using like if I gave it a silly little character and gave it a voice, my home assistant is technically an AI. Like I give it that, I call it like, I like I have my little barreled mascot. I call it barreled, and then all of a sudden, am I as bad as they are? Like I'm quote unquote bad as they are. Like I don't think they're bad.
It's a hard spot to be too,
Yeah.
I think, because what the masses know as far as AI is Midjourney, is ChatGPT, is all of the ones that are being forced into your Gmail and all into that, and Google AI every time you search anything now. That it's hard to then see someone like Doug using coding and then just assuming that it's normal on like the massive servers that are wasting water and all that. It's so hard to tell, which is a part that does the suck, that the gray areas of AI and of generative AI are so hard to discern, and it's easy to jump to conclusions and not knowing who is doing it in such a way that it's tough. It's tough.
Yeah. Like it's almost one of those things where I forget if it actually came out or if it's in development or if it was a concept at one point where there was I'm going to have to look it up after this stream because it's going to make me crazy, where it was like there was a developer, I think, using a generative AI for a character, but the character was specifically a generative AI. So he was like, I don't know of a better way to make it feel like what it is than just using a language model for this. And it wasn't supposed to be like, for lack of a better term, like a real character voice. He's like, no, it's an autonomous robot with a generative AI personality. Like, that's the character description. So they used like generative AI to give it a voice and give it the line. And I was like, that's ironically like the one good use I could sit there and think of, like, this is the perfect use case for it. But again, there's so many bad things that have brought us to this point where I'm like, this is why I stopped following that game, I think, because I was like, I want to know more, but I don't know if I could support it, even though this is the perfect use case for that thing. Where it's like, if you're making, if you're making the Terminator, you probably want it to look and feel like the Terminator.
There was a game that had reached out to me that was like, oh, I'll give you a key if you want to test the game in like an early access kind of testing thing. That part of the email was like, oh, just so you know, like, we used generative AI voiceover artists for the characters. We 100% intend to get rid of that by the time the game releases. We're just using it
as a placeholder.
And I'm still sitting there like, I'm a voice actor.
Yeah.
You could hire somebody still to give you quick, bad, cold reads. You do it yourself.
Yeah.
Like, I understand that you're a developer. You might not be a voice actor, but if you're reaching out to people for like base, very early influence, like asking opinions about your game, it's like, don't use the ones that are stealing from artists. Don't use the ones that are making the planet worse. There are other ways first that I think, like you had said earlier about the pictures being used. It's like, there's a reason why people used to use lorem ipsum as just filler for text.
Yeah.
You could use a royalty-free image to put in that spot it might take you 10 seconds or maybe 10 minutes to find the one that you want to put there, but like you can use other things first. But it's
Yeah.
cases that get so specific, like you said with that other game where they were trying to make a generative AI NPC. It does make the gray area more gray.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
ultimately, I think it boils down to like which system of generative AI are you using and where did the materials come from that trained that model?
Yeah.
Like if they used
Yeah.
a system that pulled voice actors from all of the Marvel movies and then just put that in there and now it sounds like Chris Evans, it's like, no, that's not
That's a
okay.
bad, yeah.
You are stealing from
Mhm.
somebody, even though the only model, or the only thing you can think of for your generative AI character is to use generative AI. It's like where, for me at least, a big part of it is where did the source material
Yeah.
come from? Because if it came from humans, then your answer is to get a human to do it somehow.
Yeah, no, it's like you said, it's probably the grayest area. And coming from me as the colorblind person, like that is, incredibly an interesting place to be. Yeah, no. But like that's the like the hardest thing with it, I think is like twofold. Is A, like how the tool is being used, how the tool was developed, but also like unfortunately, these AI is being thrown into things that it has no point or reason to be thrown into. And I'm hoping that this doesn't cause yet another problem for like games and game developers. Cause like Unreal Engine has a store. If I decide I want to learn game programming and go in there and go into it, I could just buy things off the Unreal Engine store. But not, unfortunately, from what I have seen, they don't have to disclose on the store if those assets are generated or not. So I could buy something
Yeah.
and use them and then not even know. So then like how far down the line, like that's where I think it's going to get like incredibly problematic in
Mm-hmm.
one of two ways. One, we're going to have witch hunts for this, and it's going to be like
Oh yeah.
it's like I bought it, I don't know what you're talking about, like this, there's absolute, I did not generate anything in my game. And then people are going to sit there
Mhm.
and be like, well, this is a generative thing, and it's like, well, I bought this, like am I responsible at that point? That's a whole
Yeah.
different thing. Or it's just unfortunately going to become so hard to weed out or so norm because we're not going to be able to go that far deep to sit there and be like, well, it's in this, it's in Adobe, it's in all these things. Like as as long as it is not in the creative realm,
Mm-hmm.
I can at least give it the benefit of the doubt.
Mm-hmm.
And that's me. Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like I
With
need a
Um,
that,
drink
it's
after that.
my last little bit on that actually, because I was thinking about it now, is like the other like really problematic thing I have with AI is not so much the actual like AI itself, whatever, or these models and stuff like that, but how a lot of companies, especially in the gaming industry, are looking to utilize it. And I'm not saying like the dev studios themselves, but mostly like publishers are like trying to
mm-hmm.
like use it as a replacement for real human like
Yeah.
work.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, yeah, I don't want this to be a thing just because you're gonna ruin something that I'd already like. And like it's getting to the point where like a lot of the things I used to joke about with friends as kids is now like becoming a real thing. Like, ads in your video games
Yeah.
of Xbox and Netflix's Game Pass shenanigans happening. And it's like, oh yeah, this is real. So like, and now you're gonna have like games that didn't have generative AI are now starting to get like support for it to be added to it, like post launch, whatever, with the
Mm-hmm.
whole DLSS 5 shenanigans happening. And it's like, okay, great. Yep, this is everything's just gonna look all the same hodgepodge mess of AI generated stuff, and I don't really want that because I like games of artistic
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
identities.
Yeah.
Yeah, some of my
And
favorite games are ones that are just someone's passion project that
Yeah.
is just creative, artistic vomit into this beautiful game, which chat usually lovingly calls depression the game. So usually they are depression the
Depression.
game.
Yeah. No.
Oh yeah.
I think we can all agree, like, at this point, where it's like, if it is replacing a human, it is bad. If it is assisting a human, gray area.
Yeah.
And like, Woven, good to see you. I'm glad you can talk now. Don't know why you couldn't before. I do apologize for that. Twitch be twitching tonight, but yeah, and like this, like there are very good use cases for AI in other fields. But when it comes to gaming, it is definitely like some gray area. Oh, dinner is why you couldn't chat. Okay, I thought it was a problem with my chat. I do apologize. Okay, I'm just gonna go in there. Oh, Super Professor, thank you for checking in. Good to see you. I'm trying to see if we missed anything else before we
There
move
actually
on
was
to
a
our
couple
next
points.
topic.
Doofy had mentioned, how do we feel about AI autonomous robots?
I
Do you mean the
love
standing
Robot.
robots?
I'm
The robots that walk freak me out a little bit. Just a little bit.
yeah. I mean, like,
It's just a little weird.
I don't understand like the like in their current state. I don't understand the need for them. I understand if we are trying to develop them, like I think Woven also mentioned something like with like the medical field and things of that nature. If we are eventually getting them for like mobility aids for people who are like disabled or things of that nature, I'm all for it. But when I sit there and hear like autonomous robot, my first mind goes to that stupid Amazon like Alexa robot that came out like a couple of years ago, that you just sit there and go like, this is the shit that's coming out first. And that's like, these are the things I have a problem with. Like there's no need for it to exist, you know. I'm sorry for anyone who has an Alexa in their house. It's probably going to go off, but like, I don't need an Alexa to follow me. Like it sits in it's a speaker. It could just sit on the shelf. Like it doesn't have to follow you like that. It looked like a fucking puppy. Like it was weird. Like I don't, and the walking robots, I don't know why they exist now. If you're telling me that there's going to be a reason for them eventually, yeah, or the military trying to develop autonomous soldier. Yes, yeah, like, yeah, I watched that movie. Like you said, Hello Skynet. Like, Terminator should not have been a documentary. Like, this is...
I just go think, one of my favorite movies is Bicentennial Man.
Oh my God, yes.
I love that movie. I don't want that movie to happen.
No.
I don't want it. I love Robin Williams, but I don't need a robot that has to then question if it has replaced its body enough times that it's no.
Yeah, no, like it, like, no. Like if I want a robot friend, I want like I want one of the non-humanoid look. Like I want like an R2D2 type thing. Like at no point am I going to sit there and be like, I'm going to question if that thing's human enough yet. Nope, that is a trash can, and I want a trash can, and it can beep and boop. I don't want it to speak English. Like, there's a reason, again, I mentioned I run like an entire smart home system in my home. It doesn't talk back to me, because if it starts talking back to me, that's weird. There is absolutely no reason for me to sit there and go like, okay, lock the front door, and it goes, okay, locked. No, just give me a pop-up on my phone. If it doesn't lock, we're good. If I wanted to hear someone talk to me, I would live with another human being. Furbies are terrifying. Yes, 100%.
I believe there was another comment we missed from Xenos. I'm on the fence because there are AI bots cleaning the ocean, such as ClearBot. But that's different than generative AI.
Yeah.
The AI that is not actually AI, but we're calling AI because AI became a hot term to use, and it was the way for companies to get funding because they thought if they used AI, then investors would invest. That type of AI, which is really just cool coding and making robots do cool things, that is completely different entirely.
Yeah. And like, I know I mentioned this before too, where it's like, if you don't have a choice in the matter, because there are unfortunately something like I can mention. I recently published a book. My contract deal, because it was my first book, I had to use their internal cover division for when it was published. Apparently, my cover is AI generated, but I didn't create the cover. I didn't have a choice in it. That's my publishing agreement, is I have to use what they chose. So, like, I don't like it. I don't agree with it. But if I didn't take the deal of them creating the cover for me, I wouldn't have a book published. So I can also understand when there are people who don't have a choice, similar to the thing where it's like, if you're using, like Des said earlier, if you're using, you know, the Adobe Illustrator and it makes your lines straighter, I'm okay with it. I would definitely like eventually to republish the book, but at the same time, I'm going to be honest with you guys. I love you to death, but I don't have the money to sit there and not it's not the money to pay for the artist to do the covers. To put this in perspective, my hardcover book sells for $10. I make 35 cents for every sale of that, because the rest of it goes to publishing fees, the printing, the things of that nature. I can't pay $10 of my money every time someone wants a book. It's just not feasible. I'm not a big enough author. I've sold like 20 copies of this, which again, thank you guys. You're all crazy. I love you for buying it. Available on Amazon. But like, yeah, like sometimes there are things you have to sit there and go,
Yeah, but
we'll
that's
deal with it.
also the unfortunate side of how ingrained AI has become into our like society.
Yeah.
As much as I hate it, it's kind of it's there and it's got its claws in right now. It's slowly dying, and we can see that
Yeah.
with Sora and stuff. But it is awful.
Yeah.
That it's so ingrained that companies are trying and succeeding at not having like that. It's your publisher has decided to, instead of hiring the artist to do the cover, they're using generative AI because it saves them money, so they make a little bit of more money off of you. And it's just I hate the capitalism of it all.
Yeah, and the other thing too, again, not to turn this into like go buy my book and buy all, you know, look into these things. I also don't know if the publisher paid somebody to make the cover and they just used it as well. So like that's the whole thing where I'm like, I had nothing to do with, like, I submit my book, they edit it, they do the things, they do all of that, and then they put it through all that fun stuff. I have 2 more books that I'm currently writing with things of that nature, but it's like, unfortunately, the next 2 books will also probably have generative AI covers, or they may or may it should be available in Canada. I've had Canadian people buy it. I do apologize. But please, again, do not worry about buying my book. Like, this is not the point. But like, that's the thing about it, where it's like, I just hope witch hunts don't have, like, this is why I think I'm a little more lenient when it comes to how it's used and other things, because it's like, hey, I wrote a book. I've now found out that my cover is AI, you know, at least parts of it have been AI generated. I didn't draw the cover. I didn't do anything with the cover. Like, if I had the choice, I would honestly sit there and go to like, hey, Des, can I throw you like $20? Will you make me a cover? Well, but I don't have that choice. You know, eventually I might.
It's interesting you mentioned witch hunts, because as a cosplayer, I've cosplayed book characters, which has gotten me into like the book worlds of different areas of social media. And it's interesting to watch authors that are unfortunately becoming victims of witch hunts by somebody using some anti-AI reader website. But the problem, at least in that case, which I hopefully don't think we'd end up seeing in gaming, this type of witch hunt, but it's the AI that people are using to write books are being fed the books of the author. So of course the
It's gonna
anti-AI thing thinks that it's AI because it was trained on those authors'
Yeah.
words.
It's like
So
when the
of course-
Declaration of Independence comes up
Yeah.
as being AI generated. Yeah.
Yeah, like which came first, the chicken or the egg?
Yeah.
It's all scrambled anyway.
Well, yeah. And again, not to take this off of the
That's a
gaming topic as well, but
freaking
that's the whole thing where I'm like,
fundamental
I don't know. Like, I've never met my editor. For all I
Mhm.
know, it could be edited. They could be tool assisted, which is another thing where it's like, this is why when like, again, when like Expedition 33 or like, was like, oh yeah, we used it for like placeholder assets. It's all gone. But like, yeah, we did it. It was part of the tool we were using. It's like, yeah, okay, I'm okay with it. Don't care. Game
Yeah.
good.
As long as it doesn't make it to market.
Yeah.
I think with like, I
Yeah.
don't like it. I don't want people to
No.
use it even as tools. But I'm more understanding because it is so ingrained in our society that something like Expedition 33, it's like, okay, none of the AI made it to market.
Yeah.
I can be forgiving, even
Yeah.
though I'm a little bit like, okay.
Yeah. I mean, again, I mentioned it earlier too, with Crimson Desert. I was like, yeah, did it make it to market? Yes, but I'm like, it's a couple of pictures in a castle where I'm like, for all I did they generate them, or were they generated AI images that they used as placeholders that just made it because they've already put out a patch that replaced them.
Mhm.
So somebody has already redrawn them. So I'm like, like I haven't even gotten to that area of the game. So I'm like, I know, I know it feels like flip-floppy where it's like, well, it's the game is good. I like the game. That's why you're like being forgiving. It's like, nah, I'd probably be forgiving if I didn't care about it as well, because it's like, it's not like they sat there and were like, oh yeah, like, you know, that skill tree you guys love. Yeah. Like Sora came up with that. Like that's where it's like, I can't forgive that at all, where it's like, if it is something that made it through the cracks because of how minute it is.
Mm-hmm. Also,
Yeah.
as someone who has worked in game publishing, I mean, granted, as a community manager,
Yeah.
the time that things accidentally slip through,
Exactly. Yeah.
it's so much more than you'd expect it to be.
Oh,
Not even in a
100%.
bad way. It's just it's there's so many cooks in the kitchen
Yeah.
when it comes to video games, and it has to be, because the sound guy is not going to be making the character models.
No.
Like, that's just not going to be. So there's of course 1,000 cooks in the kitchen.
Yeah, exactly. So
there has to be a little bit of room
for a gray area. Yeah.
for mess ups.
Yep.
But as long as the intent was for it to not make it to market, and truthfully, like, I really just wanted to be truthful. Like, did you mean to forget about it, or did you not think you were going to get caught?
Yeah, that's
yeah.
where.
Well, sorry, Des.
Sorry, my apologies. Just like a quick interjection. Because it's Pearl Abyss, I'm a bit more hesitant to give them the leeway that, like, the grace that you're giving them, Alto, because Pearl Abyss is notoriously known for, like, let's squeeze as much profits as we can out of our player base and then completely kill our games. And it's, like, fine as long as we make a profit. And it would not surprise me. It's like if EA tried to, slip some AI into a game on market. It's like, yeah, I'm watching you, buddy, type of thing, more than like, oh, it's just a mistake type of deal with me, like with this company.
Yeah.
Good point.
So, like, as much as I want to give the devs the benefit of the doubt, Pearl Best, the publisher, and stuff like that, I'm kind of like looking at them like, we kind of need to hold them to it, because if they can get away with it, like just by a step, they'll try to take a yard type of deal afterwards and be like, well, you guys are okay with the paintings. What's wrong with us making the grass with AI now? And then the trees, and then the NPCs, and then everything else.
Yeah. And you know what? I think that's fully fair. I don't know much about the publisher themselves, but like that, my thing about it, where I was like, I don't think the devs intended, like, this does not feel like an AI slop, like push out kind of a thing. And if it took, for lack of a better term, I don't even know how many people like scraped through this to find those assets. I think if they really wanted to, if this is a like, if they were EAing it, for lack of a better term, as you put it, we would have been able to find a hell of a lot more things if they were like really trying to sit there and be like, hey, we're trying to squeeze as much profit out of this as possible. It is 100% possible that the reason it made it to market is because someone in the publishing team sat there and went, no one's going to look at them. Who the fuck cares? Push it. And I'm
Yeah.
sure that probably did happen somewhere down the line in something.
It would more likely be that the developers are given a shorter timeline
Yeah.
than necessary because
True.
of hitting
Like, it's got to release this day.
yeah, it was
Yeah.
more
Yeah.
like that and cutting cost and like
Yeah.
not hiring enough developers to be working on things. So a dev most likely threw it in there just to put something there
Yeah.
with the intent of going back, but because of
Deadline,
the
yeah.
Time
time frame, yeah.
restrictions and stuff.
Yeah.
So it's
Which-
less that the publisher was like, "Oh, we'll get away with it." Most likely,
Yeah.
it was that if the publisher was pushing, make it cheaper,
Yeah.
and the
Yeah.
devs were like, "Oh God, we'll figure it out somehow," and then just not given the right amount of time. Which also, this is not a sidebar. I don't
Yeah.
care how many delays a game has, as long as you're making it good.
Mhm.
Delay the game.
Yeah.
I'm a delay the game. I've worked. I've worked
Yeah.
on a game that had many delays. I just delay the game until it works better. I understand that you need to make money, but like delay the game.
Yeah.
You make
What's
more
the
money with a better product and a faster one? Yeah.
yeah? What's the old adage that was always attributed to like a different like Nintendo or Konami developer all the time, where it's like a delayed game is bad, but a bad game is bad forever, or something along where it's
Yeah.
like where it's like
Oh yeah. It's
Yeah.
delayed is bad for now, but a bad game is bad forever. Yeah.
yeah, exactly.
Mhm.
But yeah,
it's harder
we've
to climb out of mixed on Steam than it is to start at very satisfied or very
Mhm.
yeah. There's yeah. So we went on a AI. I'm so glad we've had this topic, honestly, like because we've had these. I don't even want to talk about like tangents before, but it's a topical topic, and I know that like again, Des, you work on art, and Gifted, you have like worked in the gaming industry and things of that nature. I currently work in the technology industry, so I was like, I definitely need people to have this conversation with, and it's just really funny that we still all ended up with the same like kind of like no one's sitting there and being
All
like
three
I
departments.
was like I couldn't even sit there. I'm like I can't even find like an AI bro. Like I don't even know one where I could sit there and be like, no man, like you don't understand. Like I almost wanted to sit there and reach out to like that developer of that terrible game and be like, I don't even like calling him developer. Be like, hey, you doing anything Friday? You know, you can get the 34 people who bought your game to come watch this if you want to try and defend it. But I digress. I think part of it has to do with the shitification of production on all fronts because investor bros with little competence in a specific field making decision 100%.
Mhm.
I am not going to tell people what I do or where I work. I will just say I work in technology, and the amount of people who try and tell me what I need to do who have never even looked at any of the things that my department does is totally entertaining. Finding an AI bro who isn't irrelevant. Well, I mean,
Irrelevant is a specific term we use in chat to not refer to a specific word of people. I'll say that I was playing Wolfenstein for a totally irrelevant reason
gotcha.
last February.
Understand. Gotcha. Yeah, fair. Yeah, we don't put irrelevant people on this podcast. But we've talked a lot about
It took me a minute. I had to think about it. And I was
God.
like, oh, okay. I got it.
This is going to be the best episode to edit ever. And while we're talking about the future games being built with new tools, we're also spending a lot of time and money looking backwards. So our next topic, remakes, remasters, and re-releases. Oh my. How many times have you bought the same game? Be honest, because at this point, it is almost expected. Remakes, remasters, definitive editions, next-gen upgrades. We keep going back, and sometimes it makes sense. Earlier, we talked about preserving great games, introducing them to new players, updating them for modern hardware. But other times, it feels like we're just stuck in a loop. Buying nostalgia, replaying comfort, reinvesting in things we've already experiencing. So where is the line? When is a remake worth it? And when is it just really good marketing strategy? Des, I'm going to start with you because we started with Gifted last time.
um, what's it called? So I just like thought about it for a second. It's like, how many times have I bought the same game multiple times? Uh, and it was a staggering 9 times of Sonic Adventure 2. Because I owned it on the original Sega Dreamcast, and then I bought it again for the GameCube, and then for PS3, Xbox 360, and then my stepbrother ended up wanting, like, he ended up buying a PS4 at our house, so I bought it for that. And then he bought an Xbox One, so I bought it on that. And then I kept buying it until eventually I got it on Steam when I finally got like a PC. And I was just like, yeah. And by that point, I think I've counted like 9 times I bought that game.
I didn't even know it released.
And if Sega made a
times.
remaster, I'd be buying it again.
All right, Egg, it's on you.
Yeah,
Make it.
yeah. I don't know if you want to put that out in the world or not, but like,
Sega, make me a Chow Garden game. You can have all the money in my wallet, okay? I don't care.
that is like 18 Canadian ruples.
It is. I'll give you my moose and igloo forage, please. I'll even throw in a beaver.
Ooh.
Make the game. But personally, I think remasters and remakes are generally okay when they happen, especially for like a game that's like kind of needs it and wouldn't be played by more of the for lack of a better word, like newer generation of gamers. Like I tried showing a friend of mine Skyrim Legendary Edition several years ago, back in like 2016. And he looked at me, he's just like, this is a really old looking game, isn't it? And I was like, no, it's not. It's like 5 years old. What are you talking about, man? And they're good. And then special edition came out and he looked at it and he's like, this still looks like an old game. And I'm like, okay, but if you get mods, and yeah, so I feel like some games you kind of need to remaster them just to get newer, like the newer gen audience to get into the franchise and stuff. So it's a good jumping on point for them. But at the same time, if a game was like came out recently and then you made a remaster of it and it wasn't like any noticeably different in terms of quality, why did you do it type of thing? I'm looking at The Last of Us with like the most like shade right now. I was like, I didn't need another remaster. It was fine. It was a good looking game as far as the half blind guy can say. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, it's weird too, because like I don't disagree with you on a lot of things, but Last of Us is kind of a weird one for me because the first time I played Last of Us was when it came to PC. And if it wasn't for those remasters, it would have never come to PC. So it's like I am kind of at like I don't want to say a wash when it comes to like The Last of Us being like like, did The Last of Us need a remaster? Probably not on every console, but it definitely needed at least a port. But if you're not going to port it in its current state because, well, it's too old to port, I'm like, I can almost understand. But you could have also just made it a cheaper upgrade process instead of a brand new game. But what do I know? I'm not Insomniac and Sony. But like that,
that's kind of the big issue with me with that, is that a lot of times they'll use remasters as justification for porting the game. But it's like, yeah, if they didn't make the remaster, wouldn't have been ported to Steam, whatever, and it would suck. And yes, I would wholeheartedly agree. I'm happy it's on Steam, even if it's in its remastered form. However, Sonic Adventure 2 hasn't been remastered. It's the same game from the Dreamcast, and it's on Steam right now. What do you mean it needed a remaster? It came from the 90s.
Oh, I don't disagree with you, but we're talking about Sony versus Sega, and I'm fairly certain Sega will just port they're like, throw an emulator at it, people will fucking buy it. What is it, Phantasy Star 1? It came out on the Mega Drive? Throw it out there. People will buy it. 99 cents. Who cares? Costs us a quarter to make. But like, yeah, like there's a lot of them where I sit there and I was like, that, like, I give Last of Us a little bit of a pass, but like there's one that I want to bring up that I'm beyond fucking pissed at, and that is East 10. I know a lot of you probably are not like JRPG people, but East 10 came out in the US about a year ago, give or take. The day after it released on all consoles, not just Steam, the day after it came out in the United States, they sat there and went, we're actually developing a definitive edition, and it's not going to be an upgrade. It's a brand new game. So it's called East 10 Nordic. So it adds additional content and it adds additional like quality of life elements. And mind you, it only came out a year earlier than that in Japan, if I'm not mistaken. So this is a brand new game that they sat there and went, yeah, so by the way, we actually have a better version of this coming. We know a bunch of you already bought it. But it's coming in a year. And I've been beyond. I have not bought a game from that company on day one since, because I was like, I'm just gonna wait to see if you're gonna come out with another fucking definitive edition. And what's even worse is it is a $60 game. The first one was a $60 game, and I can upgrade on Steam. What that means is they look at my Steam library and go, oh, you own the game? You can get the better version up until this date for $40 instead of $60. This could have been like a fucking this could have been how Death Stranding did it. Where the original Death Stranding, they came out with Death Stranding, and then they came out with Death Stranding Director's Cut. Director's Cut, they sat there and went, hey, it's a $10 upgrade, and we'll just overwrite the game in your library.
Yeah, like the, what was it called? Skyrim Anniversary Edition did that type of thing?
I gave you $60. Well, I probably gave you like $50 because I bought it on sale. Doesn't matter. Whatever, I gave you what you asked for at the time of release. Because I really like the East games, and East technically is an indie JRPG. And now, like, they've gotten slightly bigger when they got a different publisher. But now you're going to fucking tell me that, because you're going to make it seem like you're the kind people because we've come out with, you've supported us. You have until August to give us an additional $40. Fuck you. I'm just not going to buy the new version of the game.
That has turned the new version into a $100 game.
Yeah.
It's no longer a $60 game. It is a $100 game.
And again, that's only until
the community managers are for that game, because that would have been a shitstorm of people just raging about that. And they did. You lose so much confidence in your business by doing something like that.
And they didn't even originally come out with the upgrade path. That was after feedback from the community. We didn't give you feedback. We yelled at you and said, we're not fucking spending another $60. I'm not paying $120 to get an island. It's a fucking island and some quality of life issues. Mind you, the island that's in there, and again, I'm not telling anyone not to buy. If you have not played East 10, do not just buy the Nordic. There is no reason both of them are on sale right now, but they are. That's a whole nother issue. But they're like, oh yeah, it's optional content. Then why are you giving me it? Why am I paying full price for optional content? I have some things to say about that. And but there's so many other things where I sit there and I'm like, because on the other side, there are like you said, there's so many good reasons for this, where it's like the Resident Evil remakes, they're completely different from the original games, but people it's been 30 years. Tank controls are dead. A new player is not going to want to play with tank control. Yeah, and that's fine. I'm hoping they redo Resident Evil 1 and 0 with the same thing like they did with 2 and 3. Just don't make them as short. But at least it's one of those things where it's like, if I'm not mistaken, Gifted, have you ever played a Resident Evil game before the remakes and remasters?
So here's my story.
Yeah, it's fine.
The first one I played was Village.
Yeah.
Loved it. And then when the remake or remaster or whatever of 4 was coming out, I had made the decision, and I'll explain why I made this decision, that I was going to play the original first.
Okay.
So that when I played the remake, I could then see what the differences were, and I could really get behind what was happening with both. That was my plan. And then I played the original 4.
I was like, it's not a good plan.
Made it all the way through the game, raged my entire way through it because those controls were so god awful that by the time I think it was maybe like 2 months, I think, between when I finished playing, maybe even only a month, and the new game was coming out. Like, it was a very, very short time. I was planning on playing them practically back to back. By the time the remake came out, I was like, I'm not buying this. I hate this. The only thing I liked about it was Leon. That's all I liked. That was the only thing, was just Ashley shouting Leon because it made me laugh. Beyond that, I hated it. I hated it because the controls were so bad. So I think you said it earlier, that it's like the remakes do help older games that have jank controls, the things that we have upgraded so well in gaming. It really does help a new audience find them. And I'm one that, like, I don't mind playing an old game with old graphics.
No.
But if the controls are bad, I hate it. I hate it. I'm not here for it.
And you know, the funny thing is 4 of its time had the much better controls than like 1, 2, and 3. So never, like, again, I loved Resident Evil 1, 2, and 3 when they came out. I am so glad the remakes exist, because I don't ever want to touch Resident Evil 1, 2, 3, or 0 controls ever again. Tank controls are dead for a reason. Analog sticks didn't exist. They exist now. We have the technology. We can do it better. So I'm hoping they continue that trend, because I would love to see all of the Resident Evils, other than 6, get an upgrade, because 6 just needs to be forgotten. But that is a whole different issue. But like there's so many good games that are like, that used to originally be stuck on older like platforms, and like they would never, like they would have dead. Like I mentioned again, I love the Legacy of Kain series. And that was a series that up until last year was dead for almost 20. And now they're just like,
was good.
yeah. And now they came out with the remasters of, where is it? I want to get this. I know that they came out with the Legacy of Kain Defiance remaster and Soul Reaver 1 and 2 as a remaster. And they remasters did well, that they sat there and went, okay, we'll come out with a new game in the series. And I think that's what's also helping it, because like so many, like the Tomb Raider, the Square trilogy, where you had Tomb Raider, Rise of the Tomb Raider, and Shadow of the Tomb Raider. They did really well. Then they remastered 1 through 3, and then 4, 5, and 6. And now they're like, okay, all of these are doing well. Let's do a reimagining of the first game, and then tie it into the Square trilogy so that it like bridges everything together. And it's like, yes, please. Like, a bunch of these things like are happening because of that. And I'm like, this is what I love about remakes and remasters and things of that nature. It's not just, excuse me 1 second. I'm going to need more throat coat.
Oh no.
It's all good. We can make it. It's not just, what's the word I'm looking for? Like, preservation. And as much as I love game preservation, I'm a giant thing for that, where it's like, Gifted knows this about me. Like, I own Kingdom Hearts, every version of Kingdom Hearts that is ever released on even if I don't own the platform, I own a copy of Kingdom Hearts for it because I just love Kingdom Hearts. Now that it's finally available on PC, I thankfully don't have to buy it anymore. But like, that's the whole thing. Like, I bought it, I own it because of these, like, because of it. Like, Kingdom Hearts is my Sonic Adventure 2. Like, I
Heck yeah.
don't know how many like times I've purchased Kingdom Hearts. I don't want to look it up because it will scare me, but it is probably over a half dozen times.
Alto,
Yeah,
can I confess something to you real quick?
you've never played Kingdom Hearts. It's okay.
No,
You'll
no,
pl-
no, no. I own them. I own
Yeah.
the games. I have all the collection stuff. I just haven't played them.
Yeah, see, I knew it was coming.
Yeah. Yeah,
It's fine. You'll play it on stream.
And, Resident Evil is the other one too. I know nothing of those franchises.
It's totally fun. Like, there are games where I sit there, like, honestly, where it's the same thing where I'm like, I think as long as the like we mentioned earlier, as long as the remake or remaster does something for a reason, I am okay with it. The one that I am not okay with, if we are going to talk about it recently, is Yakuza 3. There is absolutely no reason for Yakuza 3. I think it's please
Kiwami.
yeah, I was like Kiwami. I
Yeah.
apologize for my, American pronunciation of all those foreign words. But do you know what the difference between the original and the new quote unquote version is? It's 2
No.
additional languages.
Jesus.
And they released it as a new game. Now, if you owned it, they gave you the quote unquote free upgrade. But there's no way to buy the original one. And the new one's more expensive. So if you don't need those 2 other languages, too bad, you got them. It's like, I don't like shit like that is what I don't understand. Woven, the Kingdom Hearts series was released on 13 different platforms. So I've apparently bought Kingdom Hearts at least 13 times. But, granted, that's been over close to 30 years. So it's not as bad. That's what I'm saying in my mind. But like, there's certain things where it's like, where's another one that I sat, like the Trails in the Sky remaster, phenomenal. We'll buy, that is actually Trails in the Sky 2 or second chapter. When that comes out, that is something I will buy, not even have to wait for a sale. Like, that's how good of a game like that is. And that was like, I will not only support those developers, I will drop everything and start playing it that moment. Because it takes everything that the original had and does it better. And it introduces like better mechanics. It updates again, I don't care about the graphics. I play mostly like retro pixel style RPGs. But if the graphics are good, I'm going to take it. But like, that's the, like you said with Last of Us, I think, again, where I'm like, as much as I think they could have just ported it, they remastered it because they were claimed they couldn't port it. I'm glad it exists selfishly for me because I got to play it. But if there is no other reason for it existing other than we've updated the graphics or we're doing something inconsequential to it, don't do it. Just, or if you're going to do it, give me a way to buy the original one.
I think that's a really big problem with remasters as well, especially that I've noticed, because I started looking up some of the remastered games I own in my library real quick while we were talking, and I realized I'm like, you can't buy the original Skyrim Legendary Edition off of Steam. Like, if you go to search of Skyrim, it just gives you Special Edition and like the VR version and Anniversary.
Yeah.
That's it. The same way with Sonic Generations, you can't buy the OG Generations of 2011. You can only get the Sonic X Shadow Generations game that came out recently. And it's like, oh, I don't really like that you guys are getting rid of the older ones, because not it's like specifically on PC, this is like a particular thing for us. But like, there's mods for those games that
Yeah.
only exist on the older versions, and I can't play those mods now because you decided to like delist them off of Steam. So like, it's kind of like a huge middle finger to like all the players are just like, well, I wanted to play the original version because specifically in Sonic Generations case, the 2011 version, there's a mod that recreates all of Unleashed in
Yeah.
Generations, and you can't do that on the Shadow version. So you're only like, if you didn't buy the 2011 version before Shadow's Generations came out, you're kind of like,
you're shit out of luck.
Yeah.
Now, one of the things, like, I know they'll never do it, but like in a perfect world, I think like this is the reason or I should say, it's the perfect example of why GOG needs to exist.
Mm-hmm.
Because if something gets delisted on Steam, it should just be available. Fine, then make it available on GOG in the original format. Again, Resident Evil is the perfect example of this. The original 2 Resident Evil games, or excuse me, the original 2 Resident Evil 2 and 3, because the original Resident Evil 0 and 1 are still available on Steam because they haven't been remastered. You can buy them on GOG. If you don't want to play the remaster, you have a way of purchasing and buying the original PC ports. I'm fine with that, and I think that should exist for the crazy people who want tank controls. But I think that this is a perfect where it's like, when it comes to like you mentioned, like there are mods that exist only for certain versions of a game, then give people a way to purchase that original version of the game, even if it's not on Steam.
Yeah.
I think I don't remember if Doom 2016 is technically a remaster or a remake or at all, but for the argument of having the older game also being available, that was something I did where I played. I think it was just one stream of OG Doom before getting into Doom 2016, and I am so glad that I did that because I got to see where it came from to what it is, to completely see the similarities, like seeing the old sprites for the same monsters that I was going to fight in 2016 made the experience of playing 2016 that much better.
Yeah.
Because while I was not invested in it because I didn't play it back when it originally came out, like I had never played it before, it made the experience feel more whole. And I think losing older games, granted Doom 2016 or Doom OG Doom I think is still available on Steam. I don't know off the top of my head.
It is.
But like having that available allows for that legacy to continue, and I think it is such an important thing to be able to honor. Sounds like such a weird word to use here, but like honor the original devs by allowing that to be accessible for the person like me who's like, well, I want to see what the original is about, since the original to the remaster, remake, whatever, is so drastically different that it's like, I want to see how different it is. I think it's important to not lose those types of things, which is so interesting to, I guess, for me and my brain. I hate remakes in movies, but video games, I am so much more lenient on. I hate the idea with movies of being like force fed the nostalgia trip of like my childhood with the remakes of movies. Whereas a video game is like, I played it as a kid, make it again. I'll play it again. Why not? I'll do it.
Yeah, well, I think it's just because of the media style itself too, where it's like video games are an active, thing. But not only that, like the movie is gonna look how you remember it for the most part, whether like that, like the original Wizard of Oz looks just as good today as it did what, in the 1930s, 40s, something like that. Like it's just as good. Like sure, there's upscaling, like things of that nature, but if an NES game, the controls are the potentially the problem. I don't care, like we mentioned before, the graphic style, could it get better? Sure, great. Does it change some things?
No.
it potentially, we don't know, but like if the controls are what like the reason you're doing it, or the reason you're doing it is because it can't run on anything else, yeah, I'm all for it. Like Doom 2016 is a great example because I don't technically know what that one is because I think it's technically a reboot, not a remake. But they also, because Doom's timeline is weird and they all kind of shove itself into each other.
Can I interject? I have my hands up, but I don't have a camera on, so
Yeah.
my arm is up right now. But okay, so really cool special interest time. Whoop, whoop. Doom 2016 is technically speaking a soft reboot because it takes place canonically after Doom 64, which was like the last game in the trilogy of like the older OG Doom games, of course. And so while it does kind of behave as a sort of like remake to the original Doom, it takes place with Doom guy now being like sealed off in hell, and now he's like adorned the title of Doom Slayer. So it's like a continuation type of deal from the old games, but it's like like the new jumping on point, like how the new God of War games are compared to like the original God of War trilogy games.
Okay.
So yeah, that's all.
Yeah,
good context.
Yeah, I appreciate it because that's the whole thing. I was like, it's technically its own trilogy, but it's not because like the current one that came out is a prequel to every Doom that's ever existed. But kind of, and you're like, you know what? Sure, whatever you say. Yeah, exactly. I was like, I just love Doom guy, and I'm or Doom Slayer, whatever he's called now. Don't care. I will also say, what was it? Dark Ages probably was one of my favorite games I played when it came out. Like it was so good.
I just played it a couple months ago.
Yeah. Adding a shield to Doom was the greatest thing. I was like, it's not going to work. This is dumb. Oh, it's dumb, but it's fun. Like yeah, like that's the thing. Like, and like you mentioned where it's like, for lack of a better term, like nostalgia, where I'm like, I don't have nostalgia for that because that didn't exist when I was a kid. Like I played the original Doom and that's what I have nostalgia for. But like, ironically, I didn't really like Doom 2016. I was like, I played it. It was fine. Like Doom Eternal, I didn't finish. I was like, I don't know. Like it's not, this one made me feel like I was playing like my childhood Doom game, even though it's completely different and all that. But I'm like, oh no, like it did something into the dopamine section of my brain where I sat there and I was like, oh, yeah. And then it forced me to go back and I'm like, well, you know what? I'll give the other ones a chance. And I think, like you mentioned, like that's what's perfect for these things. Like we need jumping on points for like one of my favorite franchises of all time when it comes to like JRPGs, like that RPGs are my like thing. Like I know, shocking. But like I love Dragon Quest. I love Dragon Quest. I love Final Fantasy. And the Dragon Quest remakes and remasters and reimaginings that have come out in the last like 2 years are some of the most gorgeous things I've ever seen. The quality of life things that they've come out with it are phenomenal. But then not only that, it's just an incredible way to get like new people to jump into it where I don't have to sit there and be like, okay, so what I need you to do is I need you to go find a Super Nintendo because that's how you're going to be able to play Dragon Quest 3 in its best possible way with like the quality of life stuff where it's like, wait, what? Don't worry, hear me out. Where it's like, no, like you could like the I think the HD 2D art style that Square has like perfected nowadays. It sounds silly, but it's how I remember these 16-bit games looking in my head, where it's like, this is what I imagined that like, if you have never played Final Fantasy VI, for the love of God, people, go play Final Fantasy VI, buy the Pixel Remaster. It's fine, Gifted. I know you have played like 1.5 RPGs and none of them have been of the JRPG variety. I understand this. It took you, I think, 13 years to finish Witcher 3. You may still be playing it.
So I'm in the same boat.
Yeah, it's fine. Not enough butt in the Final Fantasy series. There is if you like squint at the pixels enough. I'm just saying. But yeah, but no. Like there is a scene that I don't want to spoil anything, but like it's the opera house scene, and there's like a musical number that happens. And on the SNES, it was like obviously like 16-bit like chip tune like sounds and things like that, but it still was like emotional. Like it was an emotional scene. The remaster, it's not only like these HD 2D where it gives you like 3D graphics, but they're still in a pixel thing, like art style, but they fully voice the song for the first time. It's not just you reading the lyrics. I am a grown ass man and I cried because like I got to experience what my like preteen self experienced, but for real. And it's just like it's just so like these are the things that need to happen. Like what doesn't need to happen is like Horizon Zero Dawn getting a remastered edition an hour and a half after it released. You know, where it's like what why? I still to this day have put them side by side, like on pictures, because I haven't bought the remastered. Even though they're like, oh, it's a $10 upgrade. I'm like, but to what? Like, it looks the same.
See, if you look at that leaf over there, it's slightly more detailed than the one in the previous version.
I mean, that I feel like really is what it is. Like, because I'm like, I can't. The frame, like, it looks like it runs the same. Like the like the requirements are the same. Like, I don't. Did maybe the requirements are like maybe the minimum instead of the recommended is lower now, but I don't know. I'm not running it on a potato. And if you are, good for you. Don't buy the fact that you could buy the regular or the remaster where I'm like, but what is like, I'm all for, like I said, having them side like exist. I'm glad they both exist because people who don't need the remaster can buy the original. I just don't understand what the point of that game is. When the original, it came out, if I am not mistaken, a year after the original.
Something like that, yeah.
Like, what is the $10 upgrade for? Somebody tell me, because it sounds like it's just graphics, but it's current generation. How are the graphics better? You're blowing my minds.
Yeah. There needs to be some type of substantial change. It kind of goes back to the hardware question, that topic that we were talking about first, where it's like, because especially with PCs, because PCs can play things on lower graphics that are older, it's that it really can't just be a graphic change.
Yeah.
Because like it's still gonna play. It's still gonna play on an older machine. It doesn't really need to be upgraded if it's just, oh cool, we have extra strands of hair now. Like, okay, I don't need that. What I want is the music to be redone in a way that makes me sob completely. You know, it's there needs to be something substantial for a remake or remaster, whatever that may be, to be worth it.
Yeah.
Cost anything. Like, no matter what the cost is, it has to be substantial. And if it isn't a substantial enough difference, it tends to just end up boiling down to feeling like a money grab.
Yeah.
And that's never good. Because then when you do come out with your next new game, it's like, all right, well, is this going to get a remaster in a year just because you want more money? And it kind of just feels weak.
Yeah.
It feels like a weak choice for a company.
Yeah. And I know like it's like CD Projekt Red has had their ups and downs, but I think Witcher 3 has also spoiled us. And I mean that in a good way because it's like they remastered that game and just went, yeah, you can have it. Like there was no like it was just a patch, which you could also turn off if your hardware doesn't like meet that. I would have probably paid extra for that and been like, okay, it's an optional thing. You know what? I'll throw another $5 at it. Like, why not? It's The Witcher. The game's like, I know it's going to sound, it's not an old game, but it's also not a new game. Like, when did Witcher 3 come out? Like,
17.
yeah, like we're at, like, it's almost a decade old game.
Yeah.
And I like, and like, not in a bad way. Like, it's never felt like a decade old game.
Mm-hmm.
And they've never changed the mechanics. What was that?
It came out in 2015.
Okay, so it's an 11-year-old game, which it still doesn't feel like a decade old game. Like that, and that's the best, like, and I will give one of those things where it's like, okay, like, did they have to do it? No. Did they do it to, like, give goodwill? Probably. Especially because, let's be real, like, I'm not saying that they needed it at the time, but it didn't hurt.
Yeah.
But, like, there are certain things where I'm like, if all it was doing was a graphical update, that's the way to do it. Just sit there and be like, guys, it's going to be a fucking patch.
Mm-hmm.
Unless you are changing the engine completely. Like, if it is not possible, like, okay, I understand, but figure out a way to make it cost effective. Again, I'm looking at you, East 10. Woven says, I looked it up. The only difference on the Horizon Remaster is adding a 4K graphics setting and bundling the DLC with the base game. So it's graphics, because if I am not mistaken, if I look at Horizon for PC, Horizon
4K
Zero
reference.
Dawn only came out as a complete edition, which means the DLC was already bundled in. So I could understand it potentially for console players who had never bought the DLC before. But if you're going to release a game on PC, why not wait until 4K graphics are not? And if not, hear me out. I also don't know if their complete edition, which is not the remaster, I think that already has 4K graphics on the PC. Now, it might be 4K upscaled, but again, I'm not fucking pixel peeping on a game that new, because they
8K
apparently
over
tweaked the DualSense controls.
Wow.
So what I'm hearing is I never have to buy this upgrade pack.
Pretty much.
Which I'm fine with. And I'm going to say this. If you are out there and it is available, because I don't actually know if you can buy the non-remaster version anymore, but I think at least it's the same price as the original. But, like, that's mind-boggling to me that it's like 4K, some dual, that's a patch. Sony, you do not want to be on the same shit list that Nintendo is on this podcast. I'm just saying, I am running out of potential sponsors, because right now the sponsors are like none of the AI bros are going to come a calling. We've got no Nintendo, we've got no Sony. I'm going to have nothing at Steam. Please, for the love of God. But yeah, Gifted, do you have anything else to add before we, I know we like bounce back and forth before we could jump on to our fifth topic?
No, I think remasters and remakes and all that, I think they are innately good if done genuinely wanting to better the experience for the player, and not just with graphics and not just with bundling in the DLC. That's not bettering the player experience. That's bettering the stakeholders experience, and that's not it. That's not the vibe.
Yeah. I don't disagree. Like, again, I'm all for complete editions. Like,
bundling everything is fine.
Yeah, exactly. You want to throw in, I think it was Fallout New Vegas has like a regular, and then they have like an upgrade bundle where it's like, hey, it's like bucks, less if it's a Steam sale. You get every DLC that ever released. Cool, wait for that.
Yeah.
Like I'm cool with those. Don't sit there and say that you're doing it. You're like, don't come out with a new edition that's 4K textures.
It's funny you
But
say that because New Vegas is getting a remaster allegedly.
again, if it gets a remaster into a completely new engine, I'm fine with,
I'm
because like
excited
again,
for
like the
it.
Oblivion remaster that Bethesda came out with too, that shit's
Yeah.
incredible. I don't want to play the original Oblivion. I played the
No.
original Oblivion. I'm glad it existed. I'm glad it was of its time.
Yeah.
But its time is over, and Oblivion Remaster is an objectively better experience in 2026.
It is. And
I think, yeah, I'm not going to say Fallout New Vegas is going to be a bad experience to anyone who's going to pick it up today. But if they put it in a new engine, it will be objectively a better game.
Yeah, I did play it through it recently, and I was playing on a Steam Deck, but like yeah, it could use a little bit of some control
Yeah.
DLC.
for
Just a little bit.
for anyone who wants to play New Vegas, just as like a PSA to you guys, if you have the hardware of it, like for it on your PC, whatever, please look at the New Vegas Reloaded project. They completely like overhauled the entire engine's like
Oh,
post processing effects and stuff like that, so the game doesn't look washed out and everything. And it looks surprisingly well done, like of a game, like almost rivaling Fallout 4 in terms of graphical fidelity.
Nice.
yeah, I love Bethesda modders. That could be a topic in and of itself.
Yeah,
but-
yeah.
Yeah,
Hey, people.
all of the things we talk about today leads to one final question, because whether it's a brand new release or a game we've bought 3 times already, not everything holds our attention. So we don't talk about this enough, but not what makes a game good, but what makes us walk away, because every player has that moment, the point where something just clicks, and not in a good way. Maybe it's the pacing, the difficulty, the story not landing, or just realizing you're not having any fun. Sometimes it's not even the game's fault. Sometimes it's another game coming out, your mood, or just burnout. Even games like Cyberpunk 2077, which people love now, had moments where players just said, yeah, I'm out. So I want to know, what's your breaking point? And do you think we drop games faster now than we used to? Gifted, I'm going to start with you.
I don't know about dropping games faster, or if I'm just more forgiving, I'll suffer through a game. But I think I have 2 breaking points, and it's mostly the first one is if the development team ends up just doing something that I think is obnoxious and stupid. I have the chat can say how mad I got at Supermassive. I have to always make sure I say Supermassive and not Supergiant. Supermassive, when they released the last of the Dark Pictures anthology, because
okay.
they've still released it, even though the first thing in their menu says that you're play with a person, play with a friend, and they released it, and there were bugs in playing with a friend, and I was so mad that like you want people to play this with a friend, and you released it in a way that makes it nearly impossible to play with a friend. That's bad. That's bad. I don't like that. So things like that, when devs make really just aggravating decisions in that way, I think that's my one way that I will walk away from a game, or walk away from just a studio and probably not pick up their next game. I'm still tentative on Directive 2080 or 8020. But I think the one that comes up the most for me is difficulty. I don't mind a challenge, but I'm not here to prove that I'm good at video games. I'm not. We've all seen the attempt to play the Will of the Wisps.
Ori?
Thank you. We've all seen you struggle through Ori.
Yeah.
I don't mind a challenge. I don't mind being bad at something. If the story and the graphics and the art are beautiful enough, I don't care about being bad. But if I am getting so frustrated that I'm not enjoying it anymore, I'm gonna walk away. My most recent one, and I can recognize that this game is a good game, not for me, is Cairn. I was so excited for Cairn. Cairn is the rock climbing game that came out earlier this year. It was supposed to come out last year, but it got pushed.
Oh, okay.
It is
Oh.
they start saying before you even play, like, this is a difficult game. We recommend you playing it on plain base difficulty, but like the intent of this game is to be hard. So I tried it
Yeah.
first on the normal difficulty. I got frustrated. So I turned on one of the accessibility features. It got a little better, but not enough. The next one, I kept turning all of the accessibility features on, and it was still too difficult for me to enjoy, even though the story that I had gotten through so far was beautiful. I wanted to continue the story, wanted to continue seeing the
Yeah.
heights that you were seeing on this mountain. It was too hard for what I like in a video game. I didn't want to have to keep proving that I could do it. I didn't. It was too much for me. And I think that's for me my breaking point is, like, if I'm not having fun anymore because the game's too difficult, then it's not for me. It's not necessarily makes it a bad game, because there are people who are going to go out there and like get really good at
Yeah.
it. And I am so happy for them that they have the game like Karen, because I think it is a beautiful game. It is just not for me,
Fair.
unfortunately, despite how excited I was for it.
Yeah, no, totally understand all of that. I will bring up Des. I want to hear your points before I jump in on this.
Oh, it's not so much difficulty, but in my case, it's usually just if I feel like I'm doing busy work in a game, like if at one point in the game that I'm playing, like the reason why I kind of got burnt out of like Warframe, for example, it kind of just felt like a series of fetch quests. I started getting really tired of seeing the same tile sets, and I was like, huh, I'm not having fun anymore. So I kind of like dropped the game for a while, and I was like, I'll take like a couple of like weeks off of it, and weeks turned into months, and I'm only now recently like being like, okay, I'm gonna try it again, get back into it, see if I like it, because too many of my friends are wanting to play it. But like, it's like I know it's a live service game, so it's not like in the same boat as like a single player game in that regard, where like it's kind of expected to have like very tedious run of the mill fetch quests, go over here, kill X amount of enemies, type of shenanigans. So it's understandable. In single player games, though, for me, that had I had a similar issue with, and it was like a big thing I was trying to do, was Sonic Heroes. Where I played through, like, I was going to beat the entire game because I've never beaten it before, despite my love for the like franchise. And I beat like the Sonic story, I beat Team Dark story, I beat Team Rose story, and then I finally got to Team Chaotix, and it went from like high flying, fast speed, platforming, and like adventuring and stuff like that to collect 13 hermit crabs on the beach. And then the next level is like, go find X amount of like pigeon eggs. And I'm like, okay, I don't want to play this.
Yeah.
This is not fun. I don't enjoy this. Like, I came to play my speedy platforming game. I don't want to play Easter egg hunts with anthropomorphic cartoon animals. I'm sorry. So for me, it's just if you cannot retain my attention for too long, or the game mechanics start to feel very tedious, or like the quest design is very tedious, whatever, and I feel like you're just making me do busy work to pad out your game time, I will drop your game. No matter how far into the game I got before that point, I will drop it instantly because I have better things to do with my time than waste it feeling like I'm going on errands. So yeah, that's my whole shenanigans there.
Yeah, no,
I get that.
100%.
I get paid to do chores, not, well, at least as a kid. I used to get paid to do chores and not pay to then do virtual chores.
Exactly.
Yeah, like I don't disagree with either of you, because like that's both of those are reasons I've definitely dropped games. Like, I don't care, like you said, Gifted, I don't care if something is difficult, but if it's difficult for the sake of being difficult, like I don't understand the point of it. What I think worse, in my opinion, is if it is difficult because of either controls or not thinking about accessibility needs. That's when I get mad. I will still try and power through it. Like, I have I have them within arm's reach, because depending on what's going on. I have like 2 different accessibility controllers that I will use to sit there and be like, okay, like this is what I'm going to potentially have to do to remap these things. And after a while, though, it gets annoying to sit there and be like, if I have to go out of my way to spend hundreds of dollars on like controllers that work just for my needs, and you're not even going to think about like, and your game doesn't allow me to rebind controls, we're gonna have a problem.
Yeah.
But the fetch quest thing also really, really resonated, because that's why I stopped World of Warcraft. Like, I loved the storyline. I enjoyed the rating. That World of Warcraft got me back into like quote unquote hardcore gaming. And World of Warcraft is what got me into streaming. Like, I started as a World of Warcraft streamer way back in the day. But then I realized, like, at some point I was coming home to like do chores in a virtual game so that I can have enough stuff to make potions, so that I can make sure that I had the right potions and food buffs so that I could raid. So I was like, I'm spending 4 to 5 days of my week playing a video game so that I'm ready for the 2 days a week that I actually get to do what I want to do playing the video. Why am I doing this? I'm paying someone for this opportunity. Absolutely not. But for me, I think the biggest one is story. If you do not hook me on your story, like, I can deal with bad combat mechanics. I may not like them. I may find them clunky. I could force my way through them if the story is engaging enough to me. Like, but if the story's not there, I'm gonna drop it. Like, I love RPGs. I don't know if Zeno is still in the chat, and if he's listening to the story or listening to this later, I'm sorry. I really do like a lot of the Tales games. Like, Tales of Symphonia is one of my favorite games of all time. I've, played a couple others of them, but I was playing, what was I playing? I feel bad because I think it's one of his favorites. That's why I was like, I hope he's not here to hear this.
This?
No, I played Tales of Arise. I enjoyed that. Tales of Xillia. I got to a point where it was just side quest the video game. And I don't mind side quests in video games if they're optional or if they're good. But it got to a point where neither one of those things was happening. And I was just like, I don't really think I want to continue with this, especially because the story's not bad per se. But when I could guess what the ending of the game is going to be, and I have 11 hours in it, and he's like, yeah, no, that's kind of like that's like the whole plot. Like, that's what it is. I was like, oh, okay.
Oh, yeah.
Then I definitely don't need to finish this. Like, but I'm like, I kind of want to, because I'm like, I don't know how it gets from where I am to the end, but I also don't feel any need to put it any higher on the backlog right now. But like, that's the biggest one. Like, there's so many things. Like, my friends loved Genshin Impact, and they're like, you're gonna love it too. Like, it's a free-to-play RPG.
Oh my gosh.
And I was just like, I'll give it a shot. And I did. And I got to a point, and it was like, well, you can't progress until you get your
level up or whatever.
Yeah, you're not even your character level up, but it's like you have to
level.
Yeah, you have to progress your world level. And I'm like, okay, well, how do I progress my world level? And it's like, well, you got to go like collect this and explore that. And I was like, I can't just see the fucking story. They're like, no, you got like that's the good part. I was like, and I'm hitting uninstall. And if I'm hitting uninstall, that should tell you something. I don't uninstall most things because I have the room.
I was about to say, don't you have NAS that keeps everything?
I have the room. So if I'm sitting there and going,
Wow.
this game gotta go. Yeah, there's only one other game I have uninstalled, and it's like gonna be like the deepest of cuts because I'm like, I don't even think I wanted to play it. It was back when I had a channel point redeem where like you could redeem me buying a game and playing it. And I was like, yeah, sure, fine. And it was Sword Art Online Fatal Bullet.
Ooh. Oh.
That quite
Yeah.
possibly could be the worst game I have ever played in my life. And I've played the E.T. Atari game. Like it had one redeeming factor where you could like customize and name your like AI character, and I named it Siri because I thought that was funny, because then I would have to call Siri every time I wanted to do something. That's the only redeeming quality of that. It's so bad. The combat's bad, the storyline's bad, the game's bad, the voice acting is bad, and I don't even know how that's bad because they got apparently the original voice actors from the TV show. Like it's just there is like it is. I didn't even want to like tell my accountant that I was like, yeah, I played this on stream, but can we just like not tell people? Like I'm willing to like take the hit and not have to like tell the government I've played this game. Like it's
Hide it from the IRS, please. It's
yeah, like I was like, I
just
just can't. I don't want to. Aren't the ET games buried in a desert somewhere? Technically, yes.
Says yes.
They have been unearthed. I think it's technically that they weren't actually buried, but the whole, well, I should say they were buried, but only because the entire like dumpster field that they loaded them into was buried. They did not like bury them to hide ET, which they should have. But like that's a whole different thing. But like, yeah, like I'm very forgiving when it comes to video games. Like I've played a lot of things and like dealt with where I'm like, it's bad, but I'll finish it. Like it takes a lot for me to sit there and go, yeah, no, absolutely not. And I think the only one that I can really think of in recent memory that I'm like, even like, I don't even want to sit there and even think about it is Fatal Bullet. And that, oof. But yeah, any final thoughts on this before we go into our critical hits and misses?
I'm trying to think of. I remember I did not finish a game called Figment. I got sent a copy of it because Figment
the
2 was
color
coming out.
game? No, I remember you did play Figment on stream at one point, though, right?
I did.
Because it sounds familiar.
Just before Figment 2 came out, and I made it, it's a puzzle game. Like you're going through different worlds and putting puzzle stuff together, and it at the beginning was pretty good, pretty interesting, good little puzzle game. But then at some point towards the end of stream, they made a very distasteful and offensive autism joke. And granted, I do know that the devs are not they're not native English speakers, so like I don't know if it was
the devs or the translators,
a mistranslation or something of that nature. But I looked up after. I was like, well, this game's been out for a while, and they're making their second game. Like, how is this not fixed for something so offensive? And that was one that I was just like, nope. There's been no redeeming quality of an apology or anything like that. And I'm like, no. You're not gonna. It is 2026. There is no place in video games for your ableism.
Yeah.
What was the joke? I don't remember the specifics about it. I believe it had something to do with smell and autistic people, and I think it was something about calling them dirty. And I was like, no, that's a wretched thing to say.
Yeah.
Like it, no.
Yeah, no.
So yeah, things like that too. I think, but that's also, I would hope, for most people, is a given. Don't play games by devs who are shitty people.
Yeah. Oh God. Now I'm trying to remember that, like, because there was the I don't even want to say controversy because like everyone like the dev is actually no longer on Steam because of like the
Mm.
rants that he had. Like even like Valve was just like, no, absolutely not. Like we're
Yeah.
delisting everything, and like
Yeah.
that should even say something. But like again, I might have to write that down for like a different topic on there. But like, woof.
That's
Mhm.
Because
crazy.
yeah, we're getting to that time, folks, where it is almost over. But before we leave, we like to do our critical hits and misses. So what that is for those of you who are joining us on the podcast for the first time, a critical hit is one thing that is great in the world of gaming for the month, and a critical miss, well, as you can guess, is one thing that just isn't landing. So, Des, I'm going to start with you. What is your critical hit and or miss?
So my critical hit is I recently got peer pressured into playing Monster Hunter Wilds,
Oh, good choice.
and after 24 hours of playing it, like in actual playtime on that game now, I have hit Hunter rank 160. It is.
Jesus.
I got really into it really fast at a scary rate, whatever. And I found out like while looking through like the DLCs because I was like, I want to make my character look pretty, haha. They actually had like a next gen graphics update like DLC you could just download for free off of Steam.
Oh, I
And I was
was
like,
going to say, it's
oh,
not $10? $10?
no, it's just
Yeah.
free. And I was like, okay, cool. Mrs. was when I went and I woke up this morning, I saw the PS5 prices go up, and
Yeah.
I was like, hey, that's not good. But yeah, that's my crits, misses, and hits.
Nice. Yeah, no, I need to get back into Wilds. I haven't played in a while, but Crimson Desert so much all the time.
Completely understandable.
Yeah, I have it on 3 different devices so that way I could always play it somewhere. Like it's on my main PC. I have it on my my tablet computer because it's weird because it's not really a laptop, but it is, but it's like a detachable keyboard. ROG makes weird stuff, but it runs phenomenally on that. And I've been ill this last week. It doesn't run great, but on the minimum settings, it can run on the Steam Deck. So when I can't get out of bed, I play it on the Steam Deck at like hour at a time intervals because that thing chugs battery. But once I am done no lifing that, I will probably go back into Monster Hunter. So we'll talk.
Heck
Uh,
yeah.
Gifted, what about you? Your critical hits and misses.
Oh, I don't know.
Yeah.
I think for a critical hit, although I am not there, PAX East is this weekend,
Yeah.
which I think is big because I think we get some more news after people get to play the demos
Yep.
and seeing what people are looking forward to. Because there's still games I haven't gone to the last couple PAX East, but I went to one in 2023. And there's still games that I am looking forward to coming out that I demoed at PAX East that year that I'm still like really
Yeah.
excited for. So I think just the fact that PAX East is happening and like getting to have people really hands-on test those demos, I think is a hit and a miss. I don't know. I
Fair.
don't know. I mean, I'll go with the Sony pricing because I learned
Yeah.
about that. That's wild.
Yeah,
That's absurd. That's
it-
not okay.
No, and honestly, like I had a feeling Des was going to pick this one as well. Like if anyone else was going to have his finger on the pulse, because I was like, I don't really know. I don't really kind of have like a miss this month. And then like it was like Sony sat there, was like, oh, you got a podcast that needs help? Because when I literally went on there and I was like, I'm sorry, what? Like
Mhm.
up to $900, which means like in Canadian dollars, that's like what, like 20,000? Like you could either buy a
It's
PlayStation like
1,000.
5 or a house.
The
Yep.
PlayStation 5, like physical, like disc version or whatever, not physical disc version, the Pro
Yeah.
version, sorry. The PS5 Pro version costs in Canada the same amount that my new PC does.
Yeah. Well, it was someone, I was watching a YouTube video earlier today, and they sat there and mentioned that the current pricing of the PS5s, the regular, the disc, and the Pro, are at or less than what people were scalping them for when they first released. And I sat there and I was like, that's an insane statement right there, that like you could have in I don't even remember when the PlayStation 5 came out. It was like 2022, 2021, right?
Something like that.
Something like that.
Yeah.
Like you could have bought a scalped PS5 in 2021 and it is less potentially on average than what a brand new one from Sony costs now. And the launch ones, I'm going to go out on here to limb for those of you like technically better machines than the current ones, because the current ones have like smaller fans, smaller heat sinks. They're like trimming things down to cut costs. And what pisses me off the most about this is I want to say it was last year, Sony came out and said that the consoles for like the first time in ever, because consoles are usually sold at a loss, that they were making profit, a small one. It was something like between 6 and 9% profit on the consoles. So you're telling me that this is your most profitable console ever. You're actually making money on the hardware. And now you're sitting there going like, you know what's an idea? Let's raise the prices even more. Like, are you out of your goddamn mind? Also, before I continue, good night, Doofy. Thank you again for stopping by. We really do appreciate it.
Yeah.
Because no, like, especially reading that, like, I will give Sony one thing of credit, that this rumor came out and they sat there and went, no, it's true. It's happening. Here is the date.
Yeah.
They didn't, I don't want to say they got, like, for lack of a better term, they got ahead of it. But if you are going to have this and announce that, there is absolutely no way in my mind that you should even be considering not porting things to other consoles. And yes, I understand currently the only other console is PC, but if you are going to price people out of gaming, if you are sitting there going, give us $700 to $900 for a console,
You're out your mind.
like you are, not only are you out of your mind, that is an astronomical cost to jump into for a console that when launched was $400. You also have like what was it? Like God of War is getting a TV show. If you come out with a new game, you are going to be expecting people to potentially buy into it for the first time. And to tell people, oh, here's something that you should do. Give us half your rent before you even buy the game. Like, no. Like, you're out of your goddamn minds. Like, I could probably, like, this, if I knew about this before today, which ironically it came out at like noon.
Yeah.
But like it would have been a topic all by itself, but I was like, I'm not rewriting this script now because it will just be 2 hours of us yelling about AI and Sony. Especially
like a
because
regular
Sony cut, like, didn't, what was it? Was it a day or two ago? They also announced that they're closing another studio. Yeah.
That should be my critical miss. As someone who's unemployed that worked in the gaming industry, just all of the layoffs.
Yeah.
It's it's a wave that happens repeatedly and repeatedly.
Yep.
Because people want it's the capitalism of it all.
Yeah.
I hate it.
I totally forgot about that too. The Epic layoffs happened
Yep.
as well with like Fortnite and stuff.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
The Epic layoffs. I mean, I know it's not technically gaming, but it happened to say, yeah, it was Epic, Sony, and Meta all had like
Yeah.
layoffs within like the same couple of hours, which I guess technically meta, you can tangentially call it gaming too, because it's a lot of the people were the metaverse
VR.
people, and it was the
Yeah.
VR. It was like the, which sucks too, because like I love my Quest. I hate Meta makes it, but like it's probably the best way to get into VR and AR gaming at the price point. Oh yeah.
Most affordable, yeah, for sure.
Oh, and honestly, like it does everything you want it to do. You plug it into a computer, great. Now you've got PC VR. You want to play Beat Saber in the middle of your room, great. It's got that. Like it does what you need it to do. And honestly, whoever thought the metaverse was a good idea should be shot. Which, yeah, but you know, don't kill everyone that you hired to work on it as well. But I digress with that. As far as a critical hit, I would say personally, I think it's the like all of the new announcements that came out from the Xbox like partner event. Like there's a lot of like great games that are coming to that system for the first time for people who don't own any other consoles. Like Hades 2 is now available, or I should say going to be available on Xbox.
Thank God they put out that the trailer for it, because I needed to see all of that
Oh,
trailer.
yeah.
It's a really good game.
It's a great game. But that's the whole thing where I'm like, it's great that they're doing all that. Like it's really cool that there's like these like third-party games that are also going to be coming to like not only Xbox but other platforms on top of it as well. Like I love when these partner showcases come up because it lets like the little guy like show off some stuff too. Because we all know that like the Halo remake is coming. Not saying I'm not excited, but I don't need another trailer for that. What I need another trailer for is Fable. Just saying.
Oh my god, yeah. I want it.
But yeah, like that's gonna be like, yeah.
I totally spaced on this. I made a post about it on Threads, funny enough, but like I found out while I was like perusing on Threads apparently that like Naughty Dog asked Sony if they can remake like Jak and Daxter, like the first game.
Yeah. And they said
and
no.
I showed the clip of it, whatever, like a side by side comparison of like the sequence of Daxter turning into like his little animal form thing. And I was like, I want it. Why did you say no? Are you allergic to money, Sony? What's going on?
I think we can agree that Sony is allergic to money when it comes to good ideas. Because Sony's obviously not allergic to money because they're going to nickel and dime you for it any way they can.
Oh, yeah. Just in the worst ways possible, not like the ways that everyone else would want.
Yeah.
Oh, no, Sauce. They said no to the remake. We're not doing it, even though I really want it.
Again, part of me wonders if this is like their way of sitting there and being like, did Sony say no, or did Sony say, like, not to, you know, give Sony credit, but to play devil's advocate, did Sony say, if we get enough interest, and this is their viral campaign of sitting there and being like, oh, you don't think there's enough interest in a Jak and Daxter remake? Here you go.
Genuinely could be. That could be
which would be brilliant. Because Sony needs some good press in right now.
I promise you, all they need to do is just port Bloodborne to PC. And a lot of people will be like, okay, you've done no wrong to us no more. You're fine, buddy.
Yeah. Look.
Easy to forgive.
I'm not going to say they're going to do no wrong, but if I get the God of War remasters of like the original trilogy on PC, I'm not going to forgive you, Sony, but I'm going to give you 2 points instead of 1.
Slightly in better graces than
exactly
for a while.
You might go back to a C passing because right now you're failing. And I think that's the kind of day that we've had, but like gaming isn't worse. It's just different. There's more of it. There's more ways to play, more ways to spend, more ways to fall behind, but also more ways to find something you love. Even if you didn't finish. If you enjoyed this episode, make sure you follow, subscribe, and share it with someone whose backlog is definitely under control. Totally. No issues here. Before we cut out, Des, where can everyone find you?
You can find me as your friend Des on Threads and Instagram, and Despyro TV on YouTube and Twitch.
Awesome. And Gifted, where can our friends find you?
On Twitch, it's Gifted Faker. And then Instagram, if you're interested in my cosplay stuff, it is The Gifted Faker. And I think it's also The Gifted Faker on YouTube.
That sounds about right.
That sounds about right. Honestly, if there's my beacon list to all of my social media, but it's either The Gifted Faker or just Gifted. You'll find me.
Yeah, and
I'm fantastic.
Yeah,
You'll find me if you work hard enough.
And I'll
try to find me. Find me and follow me. That's my challenge now.
Yeah, you heard her, folks. Find her. And I am my name is Ed. I am the Altaholic. You can find that with LLIC just about everywhere because somebody took the original name and spelling and has never done anything with it. Still not mad. But thanks for listening. And remember, save early, save often, and always press start together. We'll catch you next time.